Somebody say, oh, my weakness is sex. Anything in skirts. If I see anyone in skirts, I can't help it. I say, really? I was there with your mom? No. Your sister? No. But she's got skirts. She'll have jumped on your mom. And so you see, mommy, run. I can't help it. Anything in skirts, I jump or down. Mommy, run. And you see an old woman selling peppers. You see, pepper seller, move. Anything in skirt? No. You left your mom. You left your sister. You left the old woman. You walked to 5 streets away to go and meet a girl. No, you are not weak. You are running a script.
You are not weak. You are running a script.
Oh, yeah. When you say you are tired, when that snake walked in and said you were tired, no, you were not tired. You were running a script. Because if you were tired, as the snake came in, you say, this is my end. The snake has come. I'm tired. Then you should be useless. If you move, there's something inside of you. If you slap your wife, you say, why did you slap her? Because she said so and so to me. Because she said this, she got me angry. True, she got you angry. But the action you took is not because of what she said, it's because of who you are.
Who you are.
You slapped her because you are a slapper. You don't just say, I'm sorry. Apology must come with declaration, which is I'm sorry. Reason, which is why are you sorry? It took me about 7 years of marriage to realize that I'd rather be at peace than be right. Because every time you fight for your justice, you trade your peace for it.
Yes.
And people have traded, they've won so much justice, they have no peace left. A curse in itself requires attitudinal cooperation for expression. If I'm hardworking, right? And you say I'll be poor, you are wasting your time. If I am lazy and you say I'll be poor, there's attitudinal cooperation to your pronouncement. So the universe agrees and providence ensures that becomes enforced. When jazz was jazz, raw, you were colonized. You were colonized, man. And what colonized you was gunpowder. It's not even recognized as a weapon in 2024, right? So if gunpowder colonized you with all your cheap psychology, right? If jazz was jazz, how did the white man get away with slave trade? How did he get away with colonialism? Somebody should have called his name. Lugard should have been called from a temple and kill him off. All of that did not happen because at the end of the day, attitudinal cooperation is a precursor to the weight of curses. All poor people die twice. Only rich men die once. Death is not when you breathe your last. Whether you are alive or you cannot breathe, the moments you have no capacity to fulfill the nutrient of your own choices, to have the attention, resources your individuality deserves, to control your own human experiences, deal human experiences. Even if you breathe, you are dead.
Welcome to the Honest Bunch podcast. Thank you so much for your love. Thank you so much for your support. We are super grateful. The fact that every Monday at 6 p.m. you are here, it gives us so much joy. Now, because of una, we dey curate great content, because we know, say, it dey impact lives and una dey learn. May God continue to dey bless una. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honest Bunch podcast is brought to you by brands when we say, the reason I'm saying, these guys that they do well, make we connect with them because success and success, they follow together now, you understand? That's why as we dey successful, when I say if they successful, everybody they succeed. Resida, that na name when we say, it go resonate with una. This na people when we say, when it come to real estate, they sabi the work, and then they do the work the way when it's supposed to be. It's not a had I known or God forbid. And there's a special, arrangement in place where you can get affordable and accessible landed property. And one thing with Resida be say, you don't go ever get problem with Omonile. This Omonile, when some people they use do prayer points. Oh God, may I know these Egyptians? I don't want not Mosalah's Egypt. Before they say all this, I don't want to see them. No, you don't need to pray them away. If you do the right thing, you know go get problem with them. Talking about still people where they support us, a free price. We don't tell you now. You can actually buy quality products and get value. As you they buy the thing, you they use them. You go also feel win prize. Now why they look the company, they name them a free prize. Remember, say we tell you, I say they don't they cash people for some airport to Koloma Jara and FSSC. You carry something when big pomon skin. You call them crocodile skin. That's how you say, please, step here, please.
No. The machine device are beep, 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 beep.
You know, they call that pomon na pompon. They say, please, step here, please. Step here, please.
They recently just won, 2 people recently just won a gift prize.
Oh, wow.
$1,000 iPad and and
But why we not fit
AirPods.
join for this thing?
Everybody can join. Anybody can join. So you guys follow up. Don't miss
interesting.
out next time.
Interesting. You see, and person just collect $1,000 and better prices. Then somebody will be better person and when deserve prize. Sir Adults, 31st of March was your birthday. Happy belated birthday. You know, if it's not that my bank app, anytime I press it, it will just be rolling. What's 100 million?
It's an insult.
What's 100 million I cannot send to you? God help me, hear my voice. So, ladies and
Adult
gentlemen,
Nation Entertainment. Shout out to Adult Nation Entertainment. And always, as we tell you, don't forget, follow Dumami the Jig on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, every platform. Shout out to Adult Nation Entertainment. And I think TikTok, happy belated birthday to Sir Adult of Adult
interesting.
Nation.
So let's just go straight into the introduction of the usual suspects. Ladies and gentlemen, by my immediate right, the beautiful, delectable, drop dead gorgeous. Everybody agrees with her.
Stop.
Anytime
Oh
she
my
just
God.
says yes, stop.
I'm
People they
blushing.
don't say, oh, Deity Cole. Ladies and gentlemen, Deity Cole.
Hey guys,
The baby
and
girl of Lagos.
it's also my birthday.
Oh, wow.
You know, so they should please. This is my birthday gift. You guys should follow Lagos Girls Diaries.
Hey,
yeah.
as your birthday gift. This is my app.
No, it's to follow. It's to follow. Don't worry. It's to follow.
25 million.
No, that's an insult. 150.
150 what?
150 million.
Father Lord, I'm big in the eyes. Please let me big in reality. Ladies and gentlemen, our eldest brother, the man who takes the head of the yam when it is shared. For years, we have done our best to curate great content and give you the best. And he has offered himself as a living sacrifice. When people talk about dragging, who they don't drag reach for this country, reach am. But his rope will never cut. Ladies and gentlemen, man of enchanting physiognomy, many degrees and characters.
Purr.
The man with great experience, Nedu Wazobia!
What's up?
About
How
Mark
are you?
suppose they your body.
The way they don't drag me,
Even when you know they Nigeria,
My brother.
you the trend. Then go
brother.
see, some people will all look say, some people just be like, when we wake up, who are we dragging today?
Nature.
Let's drag Chibweze. No, Chibweze. There's Chi in Chinedu. Let's drag Nedu. Just like say, some people they wait for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, yours truly is Good Chukudi, aka
6 foot tall, chocolate
stop
puppy,
it.
you know, grit in the drip. Let go.
Oh God.
By the way, congratulations to Osmo Material. You don't need to know why.
You don't need to know, but big congratulations.
Big congratulations to Osmo Material.
Wow, I accept it from your lips to God's ears. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest, the choices of adjectives cannot best qualify our guest. He is a man that is essentially about impact. And some people have, connected to him, albeit not personally. They don't even know, say na him. But today, after we discuss what we discuss today, we go come look say, so now this person in teachings don't become quotes when people they use. Some of the subjects will be saying don't address. Now subjects will be say some people don't live with for a very long time. They find way out. They find breakthrough, but they don't get them. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the light. Imole. He is an iconoclast. He is a futurist. He is a Forbes books author. He is a thought leader. He is a connector. He's a great mind. He's a spiritual guide. Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for the one and the only Dr. Olakunle Soriyan. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
God
I'm
bless you,
excited.
sir.
God bless you too.
It is so good to, to meet you in person
Great.
and also to have this conversation.
I'm excited to be here, to be
bless
in
you.
your presence, to share time with this great man.
God bless you. Oh,
And I follow his work, and you guys are doing an awesome thing.
Thank you so much, sir.
We
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you,
So we
sir.
could just go straight into the conversation. We're essentially discussing changing the rules. Now, when we talk about rules, we're looking at, set guidelines that guide the conduct or actions of people who abide by those rules. But if you are looking at achieving a goal and you play by certain rules, and those rules are designed to give you certain results, you're definitely not going to get anything differently. So it is important that you look at these rules, Try as much as you can to see what you can apply so that those who don't already look say, no, these people are designed to remain here. They will never get here. They will never get you because you are going to jump from here and get here and even consolidate. Ladies and gentlemen, I beg, just use the next 30 seconds now. Go find book. Go find Biro because you will learn. You will learn the hard way. So, Dr. Kunle, I think a very good place to start is from a thought-provoking point of view. I don't tell myself, say, any day when I see you, I must ask you this question. So here it goes. Nigerians are very hardworking people. We are so immersed in whatever we do to the point that people anywhere around the world, anywhere where they people go know, say, this person is Nigerian. And the term, hustle or hustler, that's something where we say they know us for. But you say that we should not hustle. That hustling is for losers.
Yes.
Why? I'm not respectfully making up like say that. Why exactly did you say this?
Yes. So, first of all, think about it. Everybody in jail did a lot of things. People say just start, keep moving. But to go to jail, you have to start. So there's no value in starting, except you start with intelligence.
There's no value in starting except you start with intelligence.
There must be science and protocol to starting. People say, keep moving, move. So there is motion. So I can be in motion, but I'm not going anywhere. If I start jumping now, I'm in motion. I'm doing a lot.
Yes.
Right? I'm sweating. I'm burning
Exerting
energy.
Yes.
But I'm not going anywhere. Then I choose to go. But where am I going? Right? So motion, movement in the right direction. That requires a different type of intelligence. I don't think anybody is born to hustle. And let me say this. There is a part of you, now hustle is a big word in pop culture. People use it all day. But they are unaware of the compromises that they make in the name of hustle. Hustle has come to mean do whatever it takes, do whatever you have to do, regardless of what is, Part of what, you started very well by talking about rules. That trying to keep rules in itself can be a challenge. I believe that zero is not nothing. Empty is not useless. Zero is a lot. And people start everything from zero. So to understand this very well, there are two types of thinking. For people to understand this also thing, there is a 0 to 1 type of thinking. That's the energy of invention. Meaning that there's nothing on ground. Then you are creating something out of nothing. Then there is 1 to infinity type of thinking, meaning that something has to be on ground before you can create more. That is the energy of innovation, right? Most people function between 1 to infinity, meaning somebody has to call a shot before they can decide what they want to do. Somebody has to make a rule. Some years ago, somebody said that we should apply for a coaching, function in a company, which my company did. Then they asked us to submit some requirements and all of that. And it was getting too much for me. So I asked the person, I said, sorry, when you talk about this coaching thing, the first person that certified people, who certified him? Because you were asking for certification. The first person that said, okay, this is coaching, and this is how it's going to be. Where did he get it from? Where he got it from, that's where I live in. That is where I think from. Now, most people find it very difficult to come into that kind of power. A power where you are creating, you are driving your action away from because anything a human being creates is open for disruption. Anything created by another human being has a loophole inside it, is incomplete, and cannot be, at best, will function in a season. It's going to expire at some point. Now, the energy of the majority, right, is locked inside that idea called hustling. So what do I say to people? I say, don't hustle, position. You don't pursue your dreams. You position for your dreams.
You don't pursue your dreams.
No, you don't. Everybody say pursue your dream. You have pursue. You don't
Chase your
pursue dreams. Dreams are not designed to be pursued. As a matter of fact, dreams are designed to gravitate towards you. This is what is happening. Your dreams are looking for you. You are looking for the dream. So you are missing each other for 30 years, for 40 years. Your dream gets to where you should be. You have left looking for the dream, right? If you position for your dreams, when they say networking, for example, meeting people, because everything in life comes down to three things: people, places, and events. That's life.
People, places, and events.
When death is sure, retirement is guaranteed. You are at the departure lounge of life, ready to take the flight. Your life will be proportional. The size of your pocket, the quality of your peace, the weight of your legacy are all proportional to what you did with three things: people, places, and events. The people you allowed into your life or those you denied access. The geographies you allowed yourself to see or the ones you refused to see. The events, that is the moments you prioritize and the one you deprioritize. That's life. You will never be prosperous more than those three things. You will never have enough quality in your life more than those three things. In fact, when people come to me to say they are struggling, that's the beginning of my analysis. How are you managing people, places, and moments? How are you managing that? And it is unguardedness to demonstrate mastery on those three things that necessitate also. Also is guessing. Guessing and assumption are the same thing. They are the lowest level of knowledge. Precision, right, requires mastery.
Yeah.
When you don't know, you guess. When you don't know, you assume, right? And you pretty much grope all through life. So when you are doing trial and error, you're moving, you are getting up early in the morning. Do you know that there was a time in the human experience where there was no 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock? People were creating. There was no time in the way we know it.
Yeah.
That's another conversation altogether. When you are matured, when your maturity comes, part of your power is the ability to arrest time. Time is oppressive on 2 levels. Time is oppressive. First of all, think about it. You can't manage time. Now, everybody says time management, time management. How are you managing time? How? Anything that can be managed, think about the word management. Anything that can be managed must have the capacity to increase or decrease.
To stop also.
To stop or to move.
Yes.
To appreciate or to depreciate.
Yes.
Right? So management is the gap between appreciation or depreciation, between increase and decrease. So if I give you a shoe now, good management can keep the shoe in your wardrobe for 10 years. Poor management can destroy the shoe in a day. So if the thing has no potential for appreciation or depreciation, management is useless. Time doesn't have that. You don't waste time, you waste your life. Fools have 24 hours. The wise don't have 25.2. Everybody has 24 hours. 24 hours is what everybody's going to deal with.
Standard.
So, and no matter what you do with 24 hours today, you are waking up tomorrow with a brand new 24. You don't ever waste time. You can't manage time. Time as a quantity cannot be managed. The same time you had when you were 1 is the same time you will have when you are 100. Right? What you don't have again at 100 is energy. Now, energy, if you understand that, can be managed.
Energy can be managed.
You can take from tomorrow's energy and burn it today. You can take from today's energy and throw it to the future. That's called savings. So you can see a 25-year-old looking 44. He has taken a lot of energy in the future and burned them today. You see a 44-year-old looking 59 because he's burned future energy today. And you can see a 70-year-old looking 56 because he has taken from today's energy and kept them in the future. The whole concept of savings is the ability to trap value and put it in the future, right? So energy is what you can manage. You can waste energy. You can control energy. You can make it appreciate. You can make it depreciate. So when you now think energy management, because it has a lifespan, time is infinite. It will never expire. Energy has a lifespan. You will not always have the energy you have. And you will never have enough energy to do all that needs to be done.
So how do you sorry, continue.
Yeah. So I want to really break it down to the meaning of that. So while time is a constant, right? Time is a constant. So I don't try to manage time. I try to, and can I shock you? Nobody does. Let's start with you. If you keep to time all the time, You never apologize. You never call to say, I'm running late. You never do say, I'm sorry. You are always on time. You must be very poor. You must be a very poor man. Your life has no momentum.
What?
If your life has momentum, you will apologize. You will run late. If you are really engaged, you will miss an appointment. You will manage them, right? So if you keep to time, the reason why you will never apologize is because you're not doing anything. If you are doing stuff, there's no way you are not going to have to run late. So somebody who keeps to time every time, never late, never says sorry, never apologizes, never needs to manage anything, is a life without momentum, and that life is a poor life.
What if the person has a meeting by 9 o'clock and the person says, okay, because I have a meeting by 9 o'clock, I'm going to try and leave early so I can get to my meeting on time?
It will be successful a lot of times, but because it's a human being, there are unplanned interruptions in the human condition you couldn't have prepared for. And so a time will come where you are not in control of the dynamics, right? And maybe there's an accident on the way. Maybe there's a traffic on the way. You've done your best. To really live, and I pray that our conversation gets there, to really live powerfully in this world, you have to be matured to understand the beauty and the wisdom of imperfection. Imperfection is not necessarily flawed. And you have to know that you are living in a flawed world on many levels, and you can't be perfect. Neither will anyone be. If you insist that only through perfect behavior will you have peace, you will never have peace. The reason why people are struggling in marriages, essentially, is because they insist on perfect behavior. It took me about 7 years of marriage to realize that I'd rather be at peace than be right. Because every time you fight for your justice, you trade your peace for it. The agitation for justice is always possible. But every time you win that battle for justice, you trade your peace for it.
Yes.
And people have traded, they've won so much justice, they have no peace left. You have to come to life to understand that profit and loss are the same. Success and failure are the same. The opposite of success is not failure. The opposite of success is death. I'm going to come into all of this.
The opposite of success is
not failure.
My mom used to tell me something, because sometimes there's an uncle of mine that calls me all the time, the one in Festac. Chinedu, you don't create time, blah, 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 blah. And somehow he calls my mom, and then my mom calls me and tells me, you don't create time. You are try to create time, so that you, as you are working too, you'll be creating time for yourself and be going home too and be doing all these things too. Do you say that people that usually are complaining in their house, maybe... This is another throng of the question.
Yes.
They tell their wife, I'm out there making money. You can't expect me to be home all the time. Do you think they are successful, or they are trying to manage their time, or they are going by the flawed this thing that you talk about?
Yes, they are trying to be true to time. And so they are in the jail of time. Because like I said, time is oppressive. And when you are in the jail of time, hustling is your mantra. You are going to walk all day by standards you really cannot keep as a human being. Now, somebody gave me a call one time, my childhood friend, got on the call, got me finally and said, hey, you have become very arrogant. We call you, you don't pick. I call you, I try to reach you, I try to this, you don't pick. And he came with a lot of energy. He was kind of trying to really harass me. So I gave it back to him. I said, can I be honest with you? He said, yes. I don't miss you. You see, it's not that I don't want to call you. I'm not aware that
you exist.
You exist. It's not in my consciousness. I said, you need to understand this. Now, in this life, you will be food to somebody, and somebody will be food to you. The humility to understand that you will be food to somebody, and somebody will be food to you. It's very important. Food has never put an application for people to apply. Food doesn't say, I'm here, who wants to eat me? Please apply, come and eat me, I want it. Anyone that needs food must understand that I'm hungry, my only solution is to eat, and I have to go look for food.
True.
Food doesn't look for you, right? And when you are food to someone, they need the humility to know that you are food to them, and they should find you. Now, somebody is food to you. That is the person you are born to connect with. As long as you keep connecting to those who are food to you, those who you are food to will find you. That's my food theory. of life, and that is the law of dignity. Now, people complain because they refuse to see you as food. And so they want you to come and look for them, right? If you stop chasing your own food in that sense, and you turn to them to attend to them, they will eat you for a while. But if you keep eating the same thing, you become nauseous, right? So they can't eat you again. They will look, the person you didn't go for, they will abandon you and go for the person. Your only sharpness to be able to navigate your continuous relevance and continued existence is to focus on your food and keep eating. Let all those who you have food to come after you. Somebody called me the other day and said, you didn't call me on my birthday. I said, why should I call you on your birthday? Do you know how many people are in this world? Why should I call you on your birthday? Do you know people who don't call me on my birthday? I can't, I don't have to call you. If you need my voice on your birthday, if it's important to you, give me a call. Did you call me? I didn't pick. I told that my friend. You said, I don't call you. Did you call me? So he's the first to complain. Did you call me? Did you come to my house? Did you try to see me? What did you do? You just believe that because we have some old-time connection, where we have an old-time connection, but our responsibilities are now different. And if you sleep for 4 hours, nothing's going to happen to you. If I sleep like that, some people can go to jail. The premium on my time is not the premium on your time. If you don't have the humility to understand that we don't do the same thing, and for some reason, I'm not even judging you for it. Let's call it providence. For some reason, we walk different paths and we are on different places in life. You need the humility to now understand that this is my friend. And then you can tap into my power that I've created. But I don't want to lose that thought on time because we've not finished.
Yes.
Go ahead, I'll come back to it.
You come back. There are some people, because this thing you said is like you're mirroring most of the things that happen to me sometimes. And then somebody tells me, oh, you did not buzz me. And I'm like, do you know what I do? I do a lot of things at the same time. It's not a competition. If I don't call you, call me.
That's it.
Now, but most times I say that thing, they almost all reply to me like I'm being narcissistic, or what's the word?
That's what they're going to say.
That I'm doing reverse psychology, making them look like they are the one that is complaining for what I'm doing.
You're gaslighting them, pretty much. But this is the idea. Whether we like it or not, when I was much younger, I used to think that I have to do something wrong for people to be offended. So when people get offended around me, my default is, what did I do? What did I do wrong? What did I do? And I used to own those things. I'm 53 now. 10 years, 5 times, right? I can't babysit myself for the rest of my life. I've come to a point where, I now realize you actually don't have to do anything wrong for people to beef you. In fact, you can do everything right and they can beef you for that.
Yes.
Jesus didn't do anything wrong, right? And he was beefed, killed for doing nothing wrong, right? You come to a place where your maturity has to wake you up to your own essence as a human being. And when you come to that place, your power is whatever happens after best effort is the will of God.
Whatever happens after best efforts is the will of God.
Okay, so sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay.
So I'm going to take you,
All right.
my dear. 2, your positioning is to be clear about the wisdom to know what is important at every point in time. And to have the courage to watch other things undone. The wisdom to always know what is important. And the courage to always know to watch other things undone. You know why? Because you will never do all that you want to do.
Never.
You will only do all that you can do. Once you understand that you are managing energy, once you are managing energy that has a lifespan, there must be a scale of preference. Unlimited things to do, limited energy is what can do it. So you have a scale of preference, basic economics. Scale of preference. On that scale of preference, you need choice. You need to choose the things you are going to focus on. For every choice you make, there's an alternative forgone. The problem with people is they want to make a choice without foregoing anything. Right? The more choices you have to make, the more you have to watch some things undone because there is a compromise for every choice you make. Right? So once you are making choices, you are creating alternative forgone, and that is what is called opportunity cost. That's the cost of that opportunity. The idea that your choices are birthing alternatives for gun. Now, that alternative for gun, human beings will be there, things will be there, your personal things will be there, friends will be there, right? Family will be there, right? But there will always be alternative for gun. That is life. There's nobody that will get wiser above that. There's no intelligence away from that. No matter how old you get, no matter how much education you acquire, you are going to submit to that protocol. Therefore, the only positioning you can have is the wisdom to know what is important and the courage. Because it takes courage.
Yes.
Yeah.
The courage to insist on your freedom. I call freedom credible, independent action, CIA. The ability to take credible, independent action. It may fail the test of popularity, but it will pass the test of essence. And at the end of the day, your solical content, this is where the game changes. Nobody commits suicide outside this place. This is where you lose. You can win all the battles out there. Billionaires have killed themselves. They pass all the battles. They've passed all the tests. They fail that of essence. It comes down to here. If you pass the test here, you can control your outer roles from there. If you pass the test of your outer roles and fail that of your inner role, you fail in everything. So the thinking is the wisdom to know what is important, the courage to watch other things undone.
There's something that you said about, and okay, sorry, Tom. Okay, do you want me to ask or you want to ask first?
No, he has already answered the question, but I'm still going to put it down plain English, actually. So basically, what I'm taking from everything you are saying, because you are all older than me, so I want to make sure I understand.
Don't worry, I'm not too far from you. I'm not too far.
Because I'm sure stop.
Sorry.
Like, I want to make sure I understand properly.
Please.
For you to meet your end goal in life, literally, you won't care about most people around you. You just have to be focused, whether they're offended or not. You just have to keep going, right?
Well, I won't use the word care. It's not that you don't care.
Okay.
So what is empathy? People think empathy is sentiment. Empathy is emotion. Empathy is the ability to abandon my position, come into your own position. In other words, I rent a space in your head. I abandon my position. I come into your head and take a space there. Experience your world to know exactly what is there. Then I come back to my world
And
to
react
take
based on that.
Now, the decision I will take, I can come into your world and understand your situation more than you do. That is why a doctor listens to you, because diagnosis must always precede prescription, right? A doctor listens to you, and then when he's listening to you, it's entering your head. It's getting into your own space. He gets there and he believes when he's done, I need to give her 2 injections. You don't want that. You don't want the injection. But he has come into your world and he has understood your world more than you do. And he's now giving you prescription based on his understanding, right? So you may not like the prescription, but it is what has to be done. Otherwise you don't. But it's easier to trust a doctor. When that is coming from your friend or from your wife or from your husband or from your neighbor, it gets a bit more complex. So I won't use the word care, but empathy. When I focus on what has to be done, I come into your world, I understand exactly where you are, and I know what I don't have to do and what I have to do, regardless of what you want me to do.
The question I wanted to ask is, you were saying something about energy. Time is there. The time you had when you were 1 year old is a time that is still going to be, in existence when you're 100. The only thing you have is energy. You either save some energy from the future, or you burn that.
Yes.
Or
you're born from the future.
Or you're born from the future today. It makes, which is why some people look younger and some people look older. Some people, you see them, they're like, no, now I get time, let me walk, it will get time.
Ojo cool, ojo see me.
Exactly.
Say that the day when he die, I ain't go rest.
Do you think that makes sense? That's one question. And then the other question is, I will ask you so I don't forget. You mentioned something earlier that it took you 7 or 8 years to understand that you don't necessarily have to be right. You just want
to be at peace.
You rather be at peace than be right. Do you think that a lot of people are losing out on their marriages? Do you think that a lot of people fail in their marriages? There are a lot of divorces, there are a lot of issues in marriages because a lot of people just want to be right. Because these days, it's not like a competition. You do me self I must do back. You cheat, me self I go cheat. Like it's
What you read this morning as well from
exactly what I read. I mean, I saw something online where the lady says any man that cheats deserves a child that is not theirs. It's like it's now becoming
tit for tat.
Tit for tat. I don't know if you can answer those two questions.
I'll speak to the second one. But the first one, what's the first question again?
About
first one
energy,
is-
saving energy.
Yes.
And then
Yes. So part of what has to be understood is that, first of all, the future is impractical.
yes.
Now, so we have to understand these things because, common knowledge is out there. Any fool can wake up. You don't need wisdom to wake up. You don't need formal training to know how to get angry. You don't need to go to school to know how to keep malice, right? Those are, common wretchedness of the human condition. Those things will happen to you no matter, right? So the real knowledge that are advancing, that are liberating, are rare. And I'm excited about this type of conversation because we are intentionally coming into zones, like you said, breaking those rules.
Yes.
Right? So I'll say this freely that in practical terms, there's nothing called future. You have never been in the future before.
Yeah.
There's no such thing called future. Right? So when you say good morning, you are in the morning.
Yes.
You feel the coolness of the day. You know you are in the morning. You are not imagining it. You are not hoping you are in the morning. It's kinetic energy. You can feel it. You know you are in the morning. When you are in the afternoon and you say good afternoon, it's hot. Everywhere is warm. You know I'm in the afternoon. You're not saying it by faith. When you say good night, everywhere is dark. When you say goodbye, somebody is living. All of us are living. You just can't say goodbye, all of us are starting. Goodbye, somebody is living. When you say good life, all of us are breathing. We are alive. The dead don't say good life. Right? They are all kinetic experiences. Will you ever have the blessing or misfortune of saying good future, like you say good morning, like you say good afternoon, like you say good evening,
Or good past.
you say good past. You can even say I've been in the past. You can say, oh, my past was great or my past was bad. But you will never have the misfortune or blessing of saying good future. Hey, like you say good morning, say good future. No, you will never do that.
Sorry,
You know
but
what?
but is good future not the same thing as saying maybe the future is bright?
No, so that is your imagination.
Okay,
You are not in that future.
okay,
When you say good morning, you are not hoping. When you say the future is bright, you are hoping.
okay.
There's hope in that.
Okay.
You are imagining and you are believing that possibility will be true for you.
True.
Right? When you say good morning, you are not imagining it. You are in the morning.
Yes.
When you say good afternoon, you are in the afternoon. When you say good evening, you are in the evening. You feel the coolness of the breeze.
reflecting the
You
present.
know you are in the evening because it's kinetic. When you say the future is bright, it's potential.
Okay.
Right? The idea is you don't stay in the future. You will never stay in the future like you stay in the morning, like you stay in an afternoon or in an evening. Except that if you go and look at all of those things we mentioned, morning, afternoon, evening, night, they are all still one day. It's still a day. So the past is an experience. Tomorrow is nothing but an idea. It is God's arrangement to keep you driven today, to
get
keep
there.
you enthusiastic, optimistic, to keep your environment meaningful, right? That is the possibility of a future. In practical terms, you will never be in the future. Today was once a future. Yesterday was once a future. Every time we arrive in the future, we call it today. You've never said, we are in the future. Wow, what a future.
Yeah.
Yay, future. No. Every time you arrive, when you arrive in 2046, it's going to be today. You're not going to say 2046, wow, we are there. Do you know when Charlie Boy released 1990? And 1990 looks like it will never come. Remember that song, 1990?
Yes.
I don't know, but in my generation, we saw a series on TV called Space 1999. Space 1999. Every kid in Nigeria at 5 o'clock, they are sitting down to come and watch Space 1999 in the 80s, right? 1999 is how many years ago now? That used to be science fiction.
Yes.
The movie was science fiction then, imagining 1999. We are now in 2024, right? Today was once a future. 5 minutes from now is a future.
Yes.
When we get there, we're going to call it today, right? So let's come off that, technicalities. The next 1 second, the next 5 seconds is the future. Let's go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're in the future.
Happy future.
Right? We're in the future. So today was once a future. But every time you arrive in the future, you call it only 2 things. Moment now or today. Both of them are today, right? So today is the critical connection for every meaning, right?
Today is the critical connection for every meaning.
Today, yesterday is an experience. Tomorrow is nothing but an idea. Today is the critical connection for everything. So when people say they have a great life, he's 85, he had a great life, is somebody who lived each day well. So it comes down to each day, how you see each day. Now, the moment we are talking like this, we are coming back to time.
Yes.
You are coming back to time. So how do you look at time? People look at time like 10 years from now is different from today. Today is different from 13 years ago. Now listen to this. Every day you live successfully, you create a new past. People worry about their past. Oh, I've done this. I had a very terrible past, I spent 12 years in the university studying a 4-year course.
Wow.
12 years to get a BSc, right? I've tasted everything from chewing gum to cocaine. I mean, I've been stupid, right? When I was on campus, my nuisance value was very high. I was a virus, right? I was in the cult. It was terrible, right? So I didn't graduate. By the time I got to 400 level, which was supposed to be final year, I had about 52 carryovers. So I wasn't going anywhere. My mom used to call me Methuselah. She was sure I would be in school forever, right? She was so sure. But that past, nobody can look at it and look at me today and connect it. So people, I don't care how messed up the past is. If you master the science of today, every right decision you make creates a new past for you. And it's like a hard disk life. You create such new past that it buries everything in your past before. So how do you mess up your life? You take decisions. When you are ready to fix your life, what do? You take decisions again, right? And those decisions are taken either with insight or weakness. Insight is power.
Yeah.
Right? Insight is suspect. Because insight is drawing from yesterday. And it has its limitation. So why do you think Range Rover is powerful? Why do you say, wow, look at this Rolls Royce, what a car. Oh, look at this girl. Oh my God, when am I going to marry this? Why are things so powerful in the present? You know why? Because you cannot live in what I call deep time. You are living in a jail of time. The same Range Rover, if you go to 15 years from now, it will look like a coffin.
Yeah.
Right? It will look like, what is this? So the reason why God is God and nothing moves him is because he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. He lives in deep time. It means that when God sees a shoe today, it's not just seeing the shoe you are giving him today. He's seeing that shoe when it was on the skin of an animal in the jungle. And he's seeing that shoe 25 years from now. So he's seeing that shoe 25 years from now, it's not a shoe.
Another thing, before you answer the second question, the people that say, Baba, I dey hustle today so that I go get brighter future. I dey work to save money. Because, I read a lot. I research a lot. There are some people that will tell, there are plenty Buddhas and gurus that I watch and I listen. They tell you that they don't worry about tomorrow. They don't worry about yesterday. They worry about just today. Tomorrow is a future, is a future that you might never get to. Yesterday is a past that you will never get. It remains an experience. Today is a present. That is why it's called a gift.
Yes.
So live today. The only way you can be happy in life is by living today as today without thinking about tomorrow. Won't you, if we're going by that, don't you think it's going to make it look like you're not even planning for your tomorrow?
Yeah, and you shouldn't plan too much for tomorrow. I don't believe in savings.
You shouldn't plan too much.
Yes.
You don't believe in savings.
No. See, when you save, you are betting against inflation. Right? If you save 10 naira today, 3 years time, your 10 naira will still be there, right?
But the value is off.
But it's like 8 naira now.
Or far less.
Or far less. Even though you still see 10 naira, right? So maybe if you put the savings in gold,
Yes.
Or real
except in
estate.
gold.
you know, even real estate, yeah, but think about it. Depending on the objective, if you put money in a house and then you have an emergency, rainy day that you are saving for, and then you are hoping somebody will buy that house. Somebody may not buy that house until another 5 years. So what happens to your emergency, right? And I'm not saying you don't buy a house, right? I'm not saying so. But I'm saying, and I'm not even saying don't save. I'm just saying that, you know, the meanings in life are deeper than that, right? And I'll tell you what people should do. I believe more in investment because when you invest, you are betting against possibilities, as in against inflation. But both of them have their limits because a lot of what we call hustling is a fight for profit against loss. In my world, profit and loss are the same. The difference between profit and loss is time, right? That's all. There's nothing you lose that doesn't go into your future to multiply. You may not have that knowledge. That is not my fault. Those who have that knowledge are not moved by immediate loss because they know that immediate loss births a new type of awareness and positioning that will deliver on hunger, that will deliver on its value in time. The composure to see everything, that's what I'm trying to say. The composure to pause and see everything in their deep time. So you see a glass cup. This glass cup was once sand, right? Before it's heated sand that becomes glass, right? So when you are looking at that cup, look at the cup when it was sand. To know it was nothing to you, to anybody at that time. It wasn't attractive. Then it became a cup. Anybody wants to die for it. In the next 10 years or 2 weeks, somebody's going to break it. When you see that, it gives you a different type of positioning. You see a Range Rover or a Lamborghini. It looks beautiful. You know that in 20 years' time, nobody will look at this car twice.
And that thing, I always do that thing too. Anytime I see a car that is parked somewhere, the first thing that comes to my mind is, there was a time this car was a concept. There was a time this car was touted. There was a time this car came out and everybody wanted to have it. Now, this car is useless. Nobody, if you dash person no go collect them. Which means nothing really has.
That is true for the car. It's true for the business. It's true for your life.
Yes.
It's true for any product, for any idea. Anything in the hand of a human being has expiry date. Everything in the hand of a human being will expire, right? So once you understand that, what kind of person ought you to be, right? So there's a dimension of peace that he's creating without even knowing. Each time he's asking those questions.
Yes.
There are dimensions of peace. By the time you get close to him, as he's thinking like that, alone, you can begin to understand even some of the results he's getting.
Yeah.
Because there's a composure. So when life comes against you, your first level of strength is composure. It's not action. It's composure. Being able to take it, you know what I call it? Feedback from the future.
Yes.
Anything you are experiencing is feedback from the future. Because whatever they do to you, you are going to face the future with that. And don't forget that future, when it comes, is going to be just another day. Do you understand? So how can you live in deep time? You don't compete with people because you know things will change.
Obviously.
This is not even my permanent state.
Obviously.
Do you understand? So can you live? Now, there's a lot of teaching in that. This is not where we are going to do that. But you have to find the maturity, right, to live in deep time. And deep time allows you to see the value of a thing in the present, in the past, and in the future.
Okay.
So that when you see a lady that is 22, she looks so beautiful. She's going to be 69.
Obviously.
She's going to have wrinkles. Her teeth are going to drop, you know. Our muscles will weaken. You know, when you look at life from that angle, it changes everything. And it allows you to, one of the places I honor a lot in life is the grave. So there are some geographies I don't take for granted. And when I find young people who are struggling, there are 3 places I must guide them to see. Once they understand the economy of the prison, when they understand the economy of the grave, because there's no seniority in the grave. There's nothing like you came before me. They buried me with gold. Move. I came here before you. There's nothing like that. In the grave, there's no rank. Everybody is the same, right? So the economy of the grave, the economy of the mortuary. You see a beautiful girl in the mortuary. When they come to, she can't say, boys are here, but cover my body, cover my body. There's nothing like that. Everything is defenseless and naked in the mortuary. And a lot of youthful exuberance is the unawareness of these blocks of understanding, right? And it's fine when young people struggle with that. The tragedy of modern life is that adults don't understand that as well. So the moment you understand that, wow, zero is a lot. Zero is a lot because all of us are coming there because we're all going to die.
True.
You understand? And everything has a lifespan, therefore. So once you get that, then you say, okay, how do you zone into imperfections?
This thing I said before I go back to the next question, I just want to add, this thing I said about cars is the same thing I say about gadgets. It's the same thing I say about houses. Because the truth is, there was one time, houses now are box shaped. That's the beauty of houses now. Before, it was coney-like, castle-like, and all those things. And another thing, I don't, like you said, you just, I didn't want to say it, but you said it. It gives me some sort of peace not to stress myself.
Yes.
I live in the present, enjoy the present.
Yes.
With, I'm conscious of the future, but I enjoy the present. Now, you can understand, say, these houses that you say, okay, I want to build a house. It's a beautiful thing to have a house, build a house, live in your house. Let me build a house so that my children's children will have a house. The truth is, your children will not live in that house. They will get to the point, except that the ones will fail for life. There are some that will get to a point where that house where you build for them, they will even sell the house and go. By that time, another idea of how a house should be
Correct.
would have come.
Correct.
So basically, you don't kill yourself over anything.
Yes.
Live in the present, enjoy it the way it is, and then life will be better. Now, back to the marriage one, where you say it took you 7 to 8 years to understand that for you to have peace, you don't have to win.
Yes. So if today can be perfect, tomorrow will be unnecessary. Right? Completely unnecessary. The only reason why all of us are even doing one more thing, what's one more thing that we're doing, is because we can impact on our experiences tomorrow, right? The imperfections of today is the relevance of tomorrow. Tomorrow's people will only find continuity and engagement because of the imperfection of today. If today can be perfect,
True.
tomorrow's people will have nothing to do. If our generation can solve all the problems, millennials will have nothing to do. If millennials can solve all the problems, then the world will end in their generation. The reason why Gen Z are relevant is because of the imperfection of the millennials and of my generation, Gen X, right? So you don't criticize the imperfection of a generation. Let me speak to young people here. I always tell young people, the imperfection of your fathers are not meant to be criticized. They are a clue to your own assignment. Because if they can finish all that needs to be done, you will have nothing to do in your time.
True.
In fact, you won't be born. In fact, the world will have ended.
True.
So the imperfection, I'm not saying don't find loopholes, because everything in life, it's marriage I'm talking about.
Yes.
Everything in life, your watch, your car, your ring, your necklace, everything in life is in a state of existence, yes, but a phase of development and a season of usefulness. Everything in life. So your watch looks so perfect. This watch looks like perfect engineering, but in the excellence of this watch, not in the mediocrity of it. The future doesn't sleep in mediocrity. It sleeps in excellence as an imperfection. So the next level of this watch is inside this watch already, as an imperfection. What tomorrow's people do is to find the loophole, to find the imperfection, the incompleteness in this watch, build solution blueprints around that to define the next level of this watch. So iPhone 14 was in iPhone 13 as a loophole, right? iPhone 15 was in iPhone 14 as a loophole.
Yeah.
The relevance of tomorrow's people is to so understand the excellence of iPhone 14 to see the incompletion in iPhone 14, build solution blueprints around it to create the next level of iPhone 14, which is iPhone 15. That's true for a car. It's true for a human being. It's true for everything. So the idea is that nothing is perfect. You and I will never be perfect. The husband that can supply perfect behavior will never be born. The wife that can supply perfect behavior will never be born. Now, if you insist that only through perfect behavior will you have peace, if you say that you are going to hold your environment down to the standards of perfect behavior, then you will never have peace. Because nobody in this world will ever supply perfect behavior. So imperfection is not flawed. If the garden was perfect, what is the serpent doing there? If Adam was perfect, Eve would have been unnecessary. Think about it. It is the imperfections in things, in places, in people that defines the engagement and continuity for tomorrow's people. So I will have nothing to do if the world was perfect. What will you invite us to come and talk about?
So which means we need to understand the imperfections to create.
Yes. We first of all, we need to stop seeing imperfection as a problem.
Yes.
We judge imperfection. We should see it as a door. We should see it as a pathway, because everything in your life, the internet, healthcare, machines, the plane, the car, everything you see in this life were people who were masterful in their ability to question the excellence of today, find the loopholes in that excellence to form the next level of it. So as we are here today, no matter what I see in you, my maturity is to understand that everything you can't master is feedback for how I can help you or leave you alone. Or leave you alone. Everything you cannot master. Do you know anybody that said, when I grow up, man, I'm going to be Agbero? Man, that's my vision. Or nobody that said, when I grow up, guess what? I'm going to be poor. I'll be poor. Then at 54, I'll now die. Nobody plans those things. Nobody said, when I grow up, man, my destiny is I'm going to be selling pepper by the road. That's my, wow, what a life. Nobody did that. It happened to people. People dreamed. They had hopes. Everybody saw positive in their own journey. Nobody ever thought my life would end in jail. Nobody said, when I grow up, man, I'm going to be an armed robber. Nobody said that. Those things happened to people. It wasn't what they planned. Now, this is what I say to people. You don't become a thief because you stole. You steal because you are a thief. I'll take that again. I'm coming to marriage.
Yeah.
You don't become a thief because you stole. You steal because you are a thief. Such that if you don't ever have the misfortune of stealing in your lifetime, he doesn't make you less a thief. If you are a thief, whatever made you a thief. Right? So when you step on cockroach, blood cannot come out. Because it doesn't have blood.
Yes.
When you squeeze a car, milk cannot come out because it doesn't have milk. It's water, metal, fuel, gas that will come out. So when you put pressure on a thing, what will be revealed will not come from outside into the thing and then show up. When you put pressure on a thing, the content of the thing is revealed. So if you raise your wife, if you slap your wife, you say, why did you slap her? Because she said so and so to me. And many use that line a lot. Because she said this, she got me angry. True, she got you angry. Right? She got you livid because of what she said. But the action you took is not because of what she said, it's because of who you are.
Who you are.
You slapped her because you are a slapper. Somebody else in that situation will be provoked like that, livid as you were, because he doesn't know how to slap. He will take his jacket and go for a walk.
Get out.
Or lock himself in a room and raise the music. Or just face CNN and be watching the news. Or just leave or go on a call or listen to something because he doesn't know how to slap. If you slap, whatever made you a slapper, you are a slapper. That's why you slap. If you don't know how to slap, you will not slap. When you get into government, people say, when he got into government, he changed. That guy just changed. He used to be a social critic. He used to criticize everything. He now got into government and started stealing. I said, you don't understand. When he was telling you, I'm going into government to help you, he meant it. He's talking about his known knowledge. He's talking about the knowledge of himself at the level that he knows himself. Now, government is a pressurized environment anywhere in the world. He got into government put him under pressure, and decided to steal. What people don't know is that both him and us are meeting him at that level for the first time.
Whoa!
He too is shocked that I'm stealing. Wow, I'm stealing. He never knew he was already a thief. Such that if you never stole, it doesn't make you less a thief. If you are a thief, whatever made you a thief.
Wow.
Whatever made you a thief is somewhere in your background, in your upbringing. Because all adult behavior is evidence in learning in childhood. So you can be a thief and never steal, and live for 83 years and never steal, because providence, life, somehow shielded you from that environment that will bring out that learned behavior. If it's in you, you will manifest it. If you know how to slap, you will slap. If you know how to steal, you will steal. Whatever you do in a situation is your prevailing conditioning in that time.
Which this also goes. This also goes for people that criticize other people on social media, because you have not been exposed to that situation that person was, to know what you are going to see of yourself.
Correct.
When that thing happens.
Correct. And it gets deeper. I always say to people, be careful what you criticize, because it has a way of crawling into your own life. Right? We gravitate towards the signals of our destiny. Somebody else will hear the same thing, doesn't feel like criticizing. You feel like criticizing because usually there is a resonance. There's something in your history that you don't know yet that is connecting with that news. And you need to interpret that vibration at a level so that you can master it in your own time. Criticizing it is a distraction.
Jesus.
Because you will see all that is wrong in the peculiar action of the person and miss their wretchedness in you. So principles are universal, but experiences are peculiar.
Yes.
That's why you cannot teach experience. You teach principle. Because what truth is, what fact is to everybody, fact is fact. This is white, right? But truth at that level is relative. What is true is not what is the truth. So when you are criticizing somebody, you are speaking to what is true. The truth, right, of what you are dealing with is inside of you. So go check it. All the guys who said, my father married 2 wives, my father was this, he was a useless guy, somehow they married 3 wives. A friend of mine criticized his dad to the last. I would never marry a second wife in my life. I would never marry 2 wives. I would never. He said all of that. All when we were young. We are in our 50s now. He's still married to 1 wife, but he has 3 girlfriends in 2 different countries with children. One day we were talking and having a drink as old friends. He said, so far for your father with 2 wives, here we are now. Because you criticize and lean into your distraction from your own wretchedness. We underrate how much we have picked from the history we have known.
We underrate how much we have picked from the history we have known.
And how aligned we are with those things, such that when life started happening and puts us under pressure, because I was talking to somebody today.
Milk out the thing.
And we make the conclusion that 0 to 25, your face will look like that one your mom gave you and your dad gave you. 25 into your 60s, you are going to look like the decisions you made physically. And so we need to learn to withhold judgment. I wish we can get to social media and emotions and reasoning.
Yeah, we're coming there.
We can get there.
We're
Let me
coming
land
there.
on this marriage thing. If you understand the imperfections of life, that everything we call genius is the masterfulness of imperfection repurposed into use. So the loopholes, and I have a whole law on this, I call it the law of the loophole. The loophole, this is how inventors happen. This is how innovation happens. Is the ability to see imperfection. Now, imperfection, what you call that is the same word, incompleteness.
Yeah.
That is what imperfection is. Incompleteness. So if you see rubber in the plantation, it's incomplete.
Things need to be done still.
To make it into tire,
Yes.
make it into plastic is incomplete. Meanwhile, that also means that it's imperfect. But does that mean it is flawed? No.
No.
So everything flawed is imperfect, but not everything imperfect is
It's
flawed.
flawed.
And between those is instruction, lessons, feedback. And we need to pause to be able to gain understanding. So bring it to marriage. Since you are not perfect yourself, because it's interesting. It's interesting that you are not perfect.
And you expect perfection.
No. So you are not perfect.
To start with.
You know what human wretchedness is? Part of what human wretchedness is the ability to tolerate our own wretchedness without being able to live with somebody else's wretchedness for a minute. So somebody owes you money. And I tell people this every time because I was owing. 2007, 2008, I was owing millions. At that time, dollar wasn't 100 naira. I was owing millions, hundreds of millions. Everybody was looking for me. Anybody in uniform, Boy Scout, Girls Brigade, police, anybody in uniform was looking for me. People were sure my life has ended. I beat it, paid all my debts. But in that history, I learned a lot. Part of what I learned is people come and harass me. Pay me my money. I didn't do anything wrong. It was just business failure. I didn't commit any crime. It was just business failure. Things didn't go as we planned it. We were not too wise in our judgment and things went wrong. And people came for me, brought police, harass you, do all kinds of things. Then I told one of them one day, I just got that shift. And I said, this money you are harassing me for, if armed robbers had collected it from you, what will you do? Will you arrest yourself? Will you jail yourself? As a matter of fact, you will go to church to share testimony. So it's not this money that is your problem. It's your humanity that is a problem. So somebody give you a shoe to wear, and then you're going to give you his car to drive. You drive the car and you bashed it. There's a wretchedness inside you that will tell you that it's because you drove it. If you have driven it,
You'd have been more careful.
you'd have been more careful, you won't bash it. But you could have died. A worse accident can naturally happen to you. But that is human wretchedness. The ability to imagine everybody's wretchedness but yours.
Especially you don't have money, you cannot ditch me. Meanwhile, you too don't have money.
You don't have money. So think about it. You can live with other people's, you can live with yourself. You mess up every day, you don't report to anybody, you don't call anybody. You can live with anything you do. You just can't live with other people. So this complaint and a lot of what you are throwing out is a shield to mask your own wretchedness. So come to think about it. I'm not perfect. Why should I hold my wife to the standard of perfect behavior? So this is what I say to people. Peace is superior to justice. The pursuit of peace allows you to interpret justice in the right perspective. So how do you keep a marriage going? For a man, whatever your wife do it. 3 things you have to do. Whatever your wife wants, you do it. Number 2, whatever your wife wants, you do it. Number 3, remind yourself that whatever your wife wants,
You do it.
If you understand that, right, everything changes. But it's vice versa, though. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then I tell people, develop the skill to say yes more than you say no. Because yes is very powerful. No is powerful depending on the context. Young people should learn to say no. Adults should learn to say yes.
How does that work?
No preserves young people. Because if all you know how to do as a young person is to say yes, you'll be used, abused, taken for granted, cheated, even killed in this life. As an adult, you have to get skilled in your ability to use yes, particularly in the marriage context. And the way that works is your husband comes to you on a million things. Once they are not the major things, just get used to saying yes. Get used to saying yes. You know why? Because every yes you say empowers your no in the day of usage. When you get your environment used to you saying yes, yes, yes. I want to do this. Okay, do it.
Sure.
If you can afford it, do it. Do it. The day you say no, you say, my wife doesn't say no.
Yes.
My husband doesn't say no. If he's saying no now, something must be there. So make your yes generous. Because every generosity with your yes empowers your no in the day of usage. You will use your no. You will put your feet on the ground, but it will be easier because your environment is already used to your default yes.
But sorry,
It can also be manipulated, isn't it?
That was what I was going to say. Doesn't it breed entitlement? Because I know how to get him or her to say yes, 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 yes,
But
yes,
it also
yes, yes.
helps to the point. It also helps. Let me let you say
Yes,
it.
2 things. First of all, in the family environment is not popular culture. It's not your office.
True.
Yes.
It's not a
pop
battleground.
culture. The environment is not popular.
We deal with family context like it's the world. It's not the world.
Shit.
The rules that govern the home are completely different. As a man, you are a warrior outside. You're not a warrior in the home. So you can't bring your warrior mentality into your home. You will destroy it. Right? So when you get home, you leave your shield, your sword, your gun, you leave all of them by the gate. You come into the house defenseless.
Sir, please, before this thing flies, can I just ask you this question? Because it flew over everybody's head. And I'm sure it flew over you that is watching it. And it's deeper than normal. The family environment is not popular culture, which means what happens in your marriage does not expect to happen in this person's marriage, does not expect to happen in this person's marriage.
No.
So whatever happens in your marriage, you cannot come on social media and be advising other people because it's not pop culture.
No, it's not pop culture. We miss that a lot. It's not pop culture. See, as a matter of fact, I can tell you for free that there are no two similar marriages. There are no two same marriages.
So all this God, when I tap into it, I want this.
It's just spiritual optimism that leads nowhere most of the time.
Spiritual optimism that leads nowhere most of the time.
Because it's not faith. It's comparison a lot of times. And that's what fools do. Now, you know,
Yo, bruh.
the idea of the home function is not even the communication of values. It's deeper than that. It's the culturing of independence. So your home, with due respect, cannot instruct mine. Now, you are free to throw me advices, not one instruction. In fact, I say to people, what is the role of a mentor in your life? A mentor should not tell you what to do. The power of the mentor is to expand your wisdom table. It's not to give you instruction. A mentor giving you instruction is either over benevolent or oppressive and arresting your own freedom. When you are my mentor, your job is to increase my view, give me a helicopter view, expand my options. You sit in my war room. On my own, I'm seeing 3 angles. With my mentor, I'm seeing 7.
Yeah,
leave
expanded.
me to make the decision. Leave me to make that decision, right? And that is how we have to deal with marriage as well. But it begins with understanding that every stakeholder in the home is imperfect. Your children are imperfect. You are imperfect. Your husband is imperfect. Your wife is imperfect. So there is a humility that should breed, right? So for me, the biggest words in a home are words like forgiveness, words like tolerance, words like grit, endurance. You will need them. I mean, take a look at this. My mom is now 84. I think 84 years old. My father died many years ago at 83. I'm 53. My mom and I still disagree sharply. My siblings, we grew up together. We lived together for decades. We still disagree sharply at times. How do you now bring a woman into your own life? You and your mom that gave birth to you, you still disagree sharply. How are you now shocked that you and your wife are disagreeing, or you and your husband are disagreeing? You just met 6 years ago or 8 years ago. The people you have known for 45 years, you are still disagreeing.
She has to be obedient for whatever I say.
All of those things are just smallness of understanding.
Now,
whether we like it or not, people are small.
Can we get into the social media?
No, wait,
Real quick.
before the social media. Okay, Tom.
Okay, so it's quite obvious that we have to unlearn to relearn
Oh, Lord.
Correct.
lots of things here.
Correct.
What about the people that do not understand their predicaments? Like, you try to put them towards the right path. Let's say now in marriage, I'm not in marriage, but like, let's say now in marriage, they are the marriage counselors, and they advise them that, okay, you guys, for your marriage to work,
I even
do
hate
this and
that
do
idea
that.
of marriage counselors.
But let's say maybe the woman is I don't use the man to say every time I'm coming for men. The woman is insisting that, oh no, this is the way. What, like, how do you help people like that to understand their predicaments?
So The predicament for me is situational. That's what you're talking about. Those are situational.
Yeah, situation.
To keep your life going, you need positioning. I started with that. Right? Not so that situations become, simplified when you have a position. Most people don't have a position. So for me, there are 11 ideas that keep a marriage going. As far as I'm concerned.
Can we have them?
I'll share some.
Okay.
Because of time.
Yes.
I'll share some.
We have time.
Yeah, so they're like software. Right? They're like software. What happens when a software is outdated?
You update.
It needs update.
Yes.
If you don't take the update, what happens?
It crashes.
The system is maybe it will
Slow.
even crash immediately, becomes
Lag,
slower,
yeah.
begins to malfunction,
Yeah.
is susceptible to error, it can be attacked easily.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with the system. It's just due for update. When relationships go sour, go close to it. It's just calling for updates. The ideas, the assumptions, and the principles that started that relationship are now outdated. Those principles can no longer take them into the next 15 years. They were useful for 5 years or 7 years, but you didn't take the update. You were going. So let me share this with you.
And every day you're getting experience that will change the update.
Oh yeah.
Continue.
When we were dating, and I lived 2 phases. I lived 3 phases. Phases with my parents and going to a boarding house and living with my friends. Then a phase where I was not spiritual and living now the pain of the years with friends and family as an adult and unleashing all of that into the world. Then my spiritual rebirth, which is another phase of my life. Those 3 phases had different postures. By the time I became an adult, the way we were trained to relate with women is to deceive them. That's how we toast. That's how we woo a babe.
I will
You
buy you
deceive the
aeroplane.
babe. It's even softer than that, right? You say things like, so let me show you the principle. The principle is you meet a girl. It doesn't matter who she is. It doesn't matter who you are. Your training is know what she likes. Just know what she likes. Now, once you get what she likes, it doesn't matter what you like. Posture for what she likes. She likes roses, give her roses. She likes cards, give her cards. She likes to go to a restaurant, dinners, make dinners. Do what she likes, just forget about yours. That's how you get into a girl's head. And if you stay there long enough, you get into her heart. That's what we were told. We did that. Except that we got married and suffered relapse. Because everything we did, we're doing it because we wanted to get into our head. We're not negotiating our own heart and our own heart. Now, they say 2 cannot work together
Except they agree.
except they agree. Now, that did not say 2 cannot work together except they are similar. So I have a problem with compatibility on many levels. Because similarity is not the goal of this agreement. We don't need to be similar to agree. The Bible did not say 2 cannot work together except they are dissimilar, except they are the same. It said except they agree.
Agree.
So we can be 2 different. It's agreement that created this room.
Yes.
So it's agreement that I'm here as a guest, that you guys are together, it's agreement. We don't need to be similar at all to agree if we agree on how we are going to live together. This is what we are going to do. The problem is there's no agreement. So even if you marry an angel without an agreement, you are going to suffer, the challenge of updates. Whatever assumption that brought you together will expire, and you will need updates. And you didn't even know the software, the operating system that was on ground before. How much more to take the updates? You see what I'm saying? So it comes back to understanding what are the ideas that define the peculiarity of our exchange. I'll give you one of those rules. Whether you like it or not, you are going to offend each other.
Obviously.
It's not about if, it's about when. And in a year, with all humility, it's going to happen almost 300 times.
Oh, luau.
And some of them will be intense than the other, but you're going to offend. So if you don't know how to manage that, it's only a matter of time. You keep having issues, you are not solving the issues, you are not resolving them, you are burying them in the name of... 7 years down the line, it's all going to pop up and then you will blow out and then everything's going to end. So one of the ideas is, how do we handle conflict? How do we handle conflict? I'll give you an example. Both of us are offended. The first to apologize, the first to complain is the recipient of the apology.
Yes.
What that means is that both of us are offended. I'm the one that said, I didn't like what you did. You too, I didn't like what you two did. No.
I said it first.
You should have complained first. So I'm the first to complain. I'm the recipient of the apology. So I don't like what you did. So, I'm sorry. And it's just an attitude. You don't just say, I'm sorry. Apology must come with declaration, which is, I'm sorry. Reason, which is, why are you sorry? Otherwise, you have not apologized. If you just say, I'm sorry, about what? So you have to come and say, I'm really sorry about that. I know, this is how your mind was working. I think I shouldn't have done this. Right? There are some other things that I feel I should talk about, but I don't think this is the time for that. I think I should just focus on
what is happening.
Because you are the one complaining. So if I have issues with you, that's another day. Once he complains first or she complains first, you have just your right to present yours. Right? Now, these things, these are skills though. These are not things you are born with. You're not born with the ability to be a doctor.
Yes.
These are skills. Now, you don't need, parenting, husbandhood, wifehood. They are not gifts of nature. They are skills. Punishment is an embarrassment of nature. Any fool can punish somebody. It's your ability to offer the next person a weight of your feeling to pass how you are feeling to somebody else. That's easy.
So
right? So any fool can get angry. You don't need to go to a classroom to know how to make people. But to correct somebody, that's a skill. Punishment is an embarrassment of nature. Correction is a skill. And research has shown that over 90% of parents don't correct their children in their lifetime. They only punish.
Over 90% of parents
don't correct. Let me take it deeper. Research has shown that over 90% of parents don't correct their children for doing what is wrong. They correct them for doing what they don't like. By the time you put what they are complaining about in context, he didn't do anything wrong. You just don't like it. If he goes to the home of the Jamesons, they will celebrate what he did.
Yes.
What you are punishing him for. You don't like it, it doesn't make it wrong. Unfortunately, you are not training your children for your house. You are training them for the world. So if they keep all your rules in the home and they don't understand the science that works in society, they are going there to malfunction. They will make promises to you. They will make promises to themselves. They will break as many as they have made because they don't have the software. The operating system is not there. So it brings us back to whatever that relationship is. I don't care if it's a business relationship. I don't care if it's a partnership. I don't care if it's a marriage. There are rules. These are ideas that must govern it. For example, third parties. That's another rule. Third parties, 11 ideas, third parties. What is the role of your dad, your mom, my dad, my mom, friends?
Marriage or relationship.
Where are their voices? We have to determine all of these things clearly, right? Under that conflict management, how do we resolve? Let me give you a situation. Now, I say this humbly. In a year as a couple, it's a research we have done. In a year as a couple, you are going to have at least 7 opportunities to be in this situation I want to describe now. He sincerely believes this is the way out of this room, not this way. And he believes sincerely, he's not trying to prove a point, he's not trying to be mean, sincerely in his heart, this is the way out, not this way. And he believes that if we go this way, we die. We die. If you want to live, this is the way out, sincerely. Sincerely, I also believe this is the way out. If we go this way, we die. Sincerely, I don't hate him. I'm not trying to fight him. I'm not trying to prove any point to him. Sincerely in my heart, I just believe this is the way out. This is the way out, not here. And if we go out here, we die. He says if we go out here, we live. I say if we go out here, we live. He says if we go out here, we die. How do we resolve that? In a year, a husband and a wife would be in that place 7 times.
7 times.
Minimum. It could be about geography, relocation. It could be about the school of the children. It could be about an investment. But both of you are going to sincerely hold completely two different views with a threat at the other end of those decisions. How do you resolve that? That's why marriages crash. One of the key reasons marriages crash on a daily. Because whether you like it or not, you are going to gravitate towards that. So when people say equality in marriage, I understand it. But I say define it. Because how do you get out of that? How do you get out of that? How do you get out of that with your children? You're going to get it with your children too. In fact, more than 7 times.
With your children?
With your children. They're going to get into that situation many times. How are you able to resolve it? They don't think you are superior to them, but they think you are daddy. You've been here for a while. You should have some ideas.
More experienced.
You have more experience. You know, some kids believe their parents are not smart. If you keep punishing your children for doing what you don't like, not for doing what is wrong, they will soon find out that, oh, daddy is not smart. Because everything he punishes me for, the Ajayis reward me for it. The friends reward me for it. They praise me for it in school. It's only in my house that they punish me for it. After all, so daddy is not a smart person. And then your conflict begins. When you are talking, you're second-guessing it. You're scrutinizing it. I know he's not smart. I know kids who believe their dad is not smart. I know kids who believe that their mom is fun. She's not smart. I know kids who have told me, but you know, my mom is not smart. My mom can dress well, she can shop from here to heaven, but she's not smart. She's not intelligent at all.
Wow.
Kids have told me that.
The conflicts that you said, the least amount of times it will happen in every relationship, marriage, at this point is 7 times. How, when this person thinks this place is a, how do you advise that it be resolved?
So, if it's not resolved as a position from the beginning, and you install this
software
into your system, with due respect, you are going into, except by some divine intervention or providence, that marriage will crash. It will crash, or it will be greatly stressed. So how do you deal with that? You do that. So once you didn't do it from the beginning, an intervention must come and install it. There'll be a problem because it's going to continue, right? You're going to continue to reinforce that path
over and over.
Over and over. So if you come down to it, from the beginning, we say, okay, like I said, how do we resolve conflict? What are the ingredients of conflict resolution? One of them is apology, because offense is a constant. Offense is going to happen. So that's a constant. So we've taken that, which is, there's a lot of layers to that, to define how apologies work, what it means, who apologizes first, who complains first, and then what is the skill for doing, how do we even do it, and all of that. So we can bring all of that in. But another one is, when we get to that point, who is in charge?
To lead the conversation.
To lead the conversation. You get to that point in the business as well. But there was a CEO. That's the problem. That's the beauty of a business. There's a board management. There's a chairman. There's an executive director. There's a leader, right? You get there in parent-child relationship.
There's a father, there's a parent.
There's a mother. The problem with the message of equality, and I always say it to people, freedom without rules is a vice. The highest level of freedom is psychosis. When you are very free, you are naked on the street, walking away. That's the highest level of freedom. There's freedom of speech, but there's libel. There's freedom of movement, but there's trespass.
Yes.
You are free to move, but you can't come to my house. If you come into my house, I'm going to resist you, right? Though you have freedom of movement. So freedom is like emotions. Freedom, like emotions, must be subjected to reasoning. Reasoning must be guided by truth before you move to action. You don't use your freedom to take action. You will destroy the world. You don't use your emotion to interpret action. You will destroy the world. You have to subject them to reasoning and allow. So between E and A, emotion and action. Between F and A, freedom and action, is reasoning and truth. And when you take those two out and you move emotion to action or freedom to action, you're going to destroy your environment and destroy yourself.
Interesting.
So Part of that is to put a leash here and slow down and know that. So when it comes to equality, we are husband and wife. We are equal, meaning that you are not superior to me. I'm not superior to you, but we need a system. We are running a system. We are not living in our own cocoon. We are living in the world.
And in the system that we're living in, who is the head of the system? How do we moderate it?
Now, that, because you are the chief executive officer, he doesn't mean you are a better human being than me. It doesn't even mean you are superior to me, but we are going to take decisions. And the irrationality of the human condition cannot allow that to be tabula rasa. We just can't leave it. Otherwise, we will always disagree.
Yes.
Excuse me. That we disagree is a constant.
Yes.
You have a different view, I have a different view. And that's fine. But when we get there, how do we solve it? So if you don't trust me now, why are we married?
$1 million question.
It all went back to that.
So it all comes back to that. So if you feel I'm a fool and I cannot take intelligent decision, carrying you along, showing you everything. Now,
so what are we doing?
What are we doing? Because many times in a marriage, as my wife, you're going to come to me and say, let's do it this way. And I will agree. It makes sense to me. There'll be many times I will come to you and say, Hon, let's do it this way. And it will make sense to you. But there will be times when you will come to me, let's do that, and I don't agree. How do I express that? You also you just don't say no. Like I said, if you have also made yes default, those kind of days will be easier because your no will be powerful.
Yes.
Right? But on your best day, there will be sincere, honest clash in view. On those days, the leader has to show up. And can I be honest with you? He doesn't mean the leader will get it right. And when he gets it right, he's not become a useless person. It doesn't make him a bad leader. Because top performance is total notable success over total notable flaws. What does that mean? It's not just total notable success. So a wise person is not somebody who doesn't fail, who doesn't act foolish. A wise person acts foolish also. When somebody is a wise man, he acts foolish. It's just that most of the time he acts wise and he acts foolish occasionally. So because he acts wise most of the time, he has a reputation for wisdom. So they say he's a wise person. It doesn't mean he doesn't act foolish. His foolishness is rare. His wisdom is more. So they say he's a wise person. A foolish person also acts wise. Oh, he acts very wise. It's just that he acts foolish most of the time. And he acts wise occasionally. So his many acts of foolishness give him a reputation as a foolish person. It doesn't mean he doesn't take wise actions. But his wisdom is rare. So on your best day, you will get things wrong.
Very true. There's a whole lot that we can touch, but we are pressed for time.
No. Leave time. Time is okay.
Even with that,
we're okay with time. There's something before
wait.
social media.
I want to talk about time. Before that social media, I want to talk about time. People who follow your teachings, I'm very sure, must have heard you talk about how the next, going back to 2023, how the next 7 years,
correct,
by the time we get to December 31st of 2030, our lives will be fully done. And you have also said that, by December 31st, 2030, there'll be only two sets of people. Those who, who are maybe the victors, or those who are slaves
or
victims of that, or casualties of the next 7 years. I don't think I'm 7 now. I don't want to say if I go say I don't want to say 7. But let's look at this number of years. Very important. Looking at, so let's talk about the significance. Some people are going to look at time now and say, wait, by December 31st, 2030, like you have always said and harped on, we would have only two sets of people. Those who would have made the best of the 7 years, or those who are victims of these 7 years. Can you explain that concept?
So COVID is the instruction.
COVID.
2020. In 2019 and 2018, I run an event every January called Next 365. Now we call it Feedback from the Future. And what we do there is predict the next year and the next decade. The theme for 2019 was the end of hope, the rise of darkness. 2019, not 2020.
The end of hope, the rise of darkness.
In 2019.
2019. Did I know that COVID was going to happen? I didn't know. Did I know that there is some gloom ahead? Yes, I knew. For so many reasons. First of all, there's the law of every 100 years. There's the fact of every 500 years, right? So those numbers are there. Don't forget, this is my own work as a futurist. So I'm connecting the dots and I'm interpreting the future of things, of products, of markets, of everything. So we knew that 2020 is a year of vibrations on a level unprecedented. And people should get ready. The world changed in 2020. Let me fast track. 2023, 2020, 2021, 2023. Anybody who followed me know that I said, whatever you did or did not do from 2020 all the way to 2023 is excusable. Even if you slept for 3 years, it's fine. The universe and the contraption that engineered that season permits you to get away with anything. Whatever hard work you did not do, investment you did not make, decisions you made, it's okay. You will not pay for it. The universe will not hold you accountable to it. Whatever you did, from 2020 to 2023. 2020 is a bad year. Let me tell you what a bad year is. A bad year is a year that will define all the other years above it, that the next 10, 20 years above it will sleep on that year. For example, the world wars were bad years. The First World War gave birth to the silent generation. The 1929 global depression gave birth to another set of kids, right? The Second World War gave birth to baby boomers, and it defined who that generation became, right? Those are bad years. COVID, 2020 is a bad year. Now, on that bad year, a decade will be built, which is the next 10 years. Don't forget that we are then moving from 2030 is the end of the 2020s.
Yes.
We're moving to the 2030s, right? Between 2030 and 2050, right? If you are privileged to be alive, you'll be sure. You know how we have people were riding camel and now we are flying. That is how life will be. There are two scientists in Spain who believe that they've written a book called The Death of Death. They believe, the choice to age will be suicide in the future. They believe that by 2045, human beings will not die by natural causes. They will be dying by accidents, by them eliminating themselves. It sounds stupid, but in a world where people are already growing human ear, ready to 3D print a human kidney or liver.
3D, yes.
Ready to actually make human spare parts on many levels. The possibilities for the future are incredible. Space is luxury in the future. Touch is luxury in the future. I can touch you now. I'm going to pay a lot of money to do this in the future. Because there'll be technology that allows us to have our highest misery and deepest bliss alone without human contact. So, when I was growing up in secondary school, when we got to final year and we're leaving high school, there's a song we sing, God be with you till we meet again. You see, once they raise that song, everybody begins to cry. In 1986, when I finished secondary school, you will cry. You know why you are crying? You know the song is true. God be with you till we meet again. The chance of us meeting again is very slim. Very few of us who are able to bond, maybe on the next school we are going or the geography we move to, will see each other again, right? There was no social media. When people leave, they leave. When somebody is getting married in London, you don't know. When your classmate is buying a house in Italy, you're not aware, right? Today, because I'm a public speaker, I still go to validatory services. And they sing the same song, except that kids don't cry anymore. They're just chilling. You know why they don't cry? Nobody's leaving. They're all on social media.
Yes.
They will see each other. Nobody's going anywhere, right? And then envy is heightened because of that video reality and the ability to replay the past, which is photography and video. So if somebody is, gives birth to a new baby or gets married, you left secondary school in Abuja, he moved to America, you went to Ghana. 15 years after both of you, one of them is getting married, the other is not married, you don't even know, except you stay connected. It's not easy way back because you have to be middle class to have a telephone. You have to be middle class to have a video recorder. So once you don't have those things already, your options are already slim.
Limited.
There were no 24-hour TV. So the ability to even see the world is limited. You have to physically move. If you want to see your cousin in Ikorodu, or you are in Dallas, you want to see your cousin in Houston, you are going to travel to find out that I just left 2 minutes ago, right? Time is saved, precision is engineered now because with a text message, I can know before I leave. I can call him and look at him before I leave where I am. So I save time, right? The world has changed. Now, some years ago, at the time I was describing, I don't know when you got married. If you buy a belt now, I will know. Because you go on Instagram and do a belting Joe. We are belting, and then you put it there. You buy a food, you do a video of your food.
Yeah.
So now, when you give birth, when you get married in 1986, if I don't like it, if I'm not happy that you are not married, right, I have to talk it in. I can't show it to you.
Can't say anything about it.
I have to pretend that I like it, right? And that means I am wrestling my own envy and putting it in check and killing it by myself. The misery of technology, which is what I call privatization, the ability of the human spirit to have its highest bliss or deepest darkness alone without human contact, means that in your bedroom, you can now see that, Jane now is now married. You are alone. You can express anything you want. Nonsense. What's going on? Where will my own happen? What's going on?
This girl, I know all the rubbish when she did do that time.
You can do all of that alone. Nobody's going to see you. Because private and public with technology are now the same. You can be alone in your room and be talking to the whole world and the whole world is seeing you. You're supposed to be in a private place, but you're in a public place. Though you are in a private location. So public has a new meaning. Private has a new meaning. Public has a new meaning. Right? So the whole thing has changed. And as we move into the future, there's going to be more and more arrest of time as we know it. So there'll be driverless cars. People are going to be ordering enough food. E-commerce will grow. Right? So think about it. To be able to travel from Nigeria to the United States, do you understand? It's going to be, I was talking to him, easy to travel. When we're coming, I said, the future of travel is luxury. Because it will be easier to have everything you want without touching each other. So for you to go and touch somebody and see them physically, you're going to pay for it. Right? You're going to pay for it. What is that telling you? It's telling you about the fact that the world is changing, and it's changing on 5 lines. How we live, how we love, how we play, how we walk, and how we die. That's it.
Live, play, work,
die. And every idea, product, service, technology, everything coming is impacting on those 5 areas. That's what we call culture shaping. Whatever you are doing, if it has no impact on those 5 areas, you are jogging in the dark. You are jogging fast with determination into irrelevance. That's what is happening. If you have to be relevant, those 5 things are in front of you. Now, what that means is that the next 7 years, from 2023, now don't forget what I said, 2020 to 2023, you are free.
It's excusable.
It's excusable. But from 2024
to 2030.
January 1st to 2030, whatever you did or did not do is the remainder of your life. Your life, now I tell people, you don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe me. But I kid you not. Buildings have foundations. Cars have architecture. Journeys have map. The map of your next 30 years. Think about it though. Anybody living today, I don't care if you are age 1, whatever your age is, anybody breathing today, even if you are a day old, in 30 years, you will be in one of 3 places. In 30 years, surely everybody breathing from age 1 day to whatever age is a full-blown adult in 30 years' time. Or you are so full-blown as an adult, you are the departure lounge of life, ready to take the flight. Or you will have taken the flight. Let's do the math. If you are 1,
You'll be 30.
you'll be 30, 31.
31.
If you are 10, you'll be 40.
40.
If you are 20, you'll be 50. So I told my friend, I said, this is your son. He'll be 42 because he's 12 now. He'll be 42. He said, wow, you'll be so old. I said, you'll be dead. Remember that you'll be dead because you'll be in your 80s. That you'll be alive. How many 80s, how many 90-somethings do you know? If you are 30, you'll be 60.
Yeah.
You'll be 60. If you are 40, you'll be 70. If you are 50, you'll be 80. If you are 60, you'll be 90. How many 90-year-olds do you know? If you are 70, you'll be 100. How many 100 years old you be?
Then
We can rephrase it and say, if you are 70, you will either be dead or you will not be participating.
Yes.
Let's be kind.
Yes.
Say, it's either you'll be dead or you are not participating
Yes.
in what we call culture anymore, right? So think about that. It says the future is 30 now. And I put an article out on that. The future is 30. In 30 years, we are all done. So out of that 30, 7, it makes sense, should be your foundation. In fact, we are being generous because 10% of that is 3.
Yes.
So to even we'll give you 20% and more and extra. So 7 years is the foundation of your next 30 years. Whatever you do or did not do in the next 7 years is the foundation of the remainder of your life. And by December 31st night, 2030, that foundation will be completed. Your next 20 years after that is responding to whatever you have built in the next 7 years.
I wanted us to get into social media. There are 3 things I want to talk about. The police. There's somewhere I also saw that you said the English is overrated.
Yes.
And then the social media. But I'd like us to talk social media before we get to other things.
Great. So just like I began to talk about the fact of technology.
Yes.
It's a major instrument in the social media space.
Yes.
Now, everything you call social media is the arrest of 3 things. The first one is the arrest of reasoning. The second one is the arrest of justice. And the third one is the arrest of freedom. Now, social media is also the gift of 3 things. The gift of community. Because it's a blessing.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah.
The gift of community, right? The gift of the democratization of anything, of knowledge, of products, of services. Because on one spot, you could share your ideas. Look at the music industry.
Exactly.
Record labels are endangered because of the gift of that.
Yes.
And then the gift of community, the gift of the gift of space, time, and matter.
Yes.
Because the 3 of them are collapsed because of social media. We are now borderless. So the gift of borderlessness.
Yes.
The gift of democratization and the gift of community. So let's go back to the arrest.
Yes.
The arrest of reasoning. You see, in 2016, November 16, I will never forget because that's the day I got married. Not 2016, but November 16.
Yes.
November 16, 2016, a new word was accepted into the English dictionary. It's called post-truth.
Post-truth.
Post-truth. It was accepted to the English dictionary. November 16, 2016. Now look at the word post-truth. It suggests that there was pre-truth, there was truth,
and
then there's
post-truth.
post-truth.
Yeah.
What does that even mean? Post-truth. So the world is now ready to define their meaning and their reality beyond the limits of truth. That's post-truth. Post-truth. We are now saying we can now define the energy of our exchange, the meaning and the context of our exchange beyond truth.
Yes.
It means we were in truth.
Now.
We were in no truth at a point. Now we are in truth. And when man was in the jungle, there was no truth.
True.
When life was brutish, short, jungle, we were running around with horses and spear and all of that, there was no truth. In the Stone Age, there was no truth. There were no common law. There were no justice. There was no truth. Then we got into truth with enlightenment.
Yeah.
We got into truth, and there was a generation and generation of enlightenment. Now we are saying we are ready to go beyond truth. And how is that working? I'll use the most lay on this interpretation of it. What it means is that how we feel, feeling, emotion, and personal view are now more powerful than objective reasoning.
Tell me more.
Feelings, emotions, personal views are now more powerful and more credible than objective reasoning. What does that even mean? That means that how we feel about the truth is more important than what the truth is about. It doesn't matter what the truth is about. What we feel about it is more important than what the truth is about. Without this, you can now understand there won't be Brexit. Because Brexit was made happen on fake news. People were saying lies to support Brexit, and nobody was checking it because it agrees with how people
felt at that point.
So, without that, there won't be populism as we know it. If Donald Trump will not have risen.
Yes.
If not for post-truth.
Yes.
Brexit will not have happened if not for post-truth.
Yes.
Probably Emmanuel Macron will not be president of France if not for post-truth. We can go on and on, right? Maybe they won't even be obedient because of without post-truth. And I mean it, because when you look at the way that knowledge progresses and expands today, it expands based on how we feel. And it can happen so deeply away from how we should think. So we are thinking less, we are feeling more. So words like total quality management is now dead. There's nothing like total quality management anymore. Because if you sell the most qualitative product, I now sell the worst product. But for some reason, the way I tell my story,
the way I paint it to be
of this terrible product unlocks the feelings of people and will dwarf your product no matter how powerful it is. I'll give you an example. We're in a Gen Z, we are greeting a Gen Z generation right now. Gen Z have some things that define them. Part of it is they believe in causes. They insist on transparency, accountability.
By causes, what do you mean?
I mean that advocacy.
Okay, causes.
Yeah, they believe in causes. They believe in advocacy. They believe in rights and standing for it. So if you want to sell a cupcakes to Gen Z, if you say, oh, this cake is made of so milk, so sugar, is so quality, it's going to grow you, help you to be strong, and this is what the sugar does for you. You're talking to my generation. If you say to Gen Z, for every cake that you buy, we give 2 cakes to Africa. You get them.
As long as they go enter social media.
we're going to talk about it. It's going to grow. Do you understand? And that's important. That's important because they are digital natives. They are growing up with a world that has less and less of manual expression in it. Everything they have known is digital. And so they know speed. They are less patient. They want now. Due process has to be explained.
Yes.
Patience can be non-existent. Now, when we say, when they define a generation, it doesn't mean that's how every Gen Z is.
That's obviously.
It's just the predominant behavior that they are seeing in that generation.
Culture of the
that
Gen
generation,
Z people.
right? So that's what we are describing. So you then look at that, and so how does that populate? How does that populate? The way that works is you then look at everything that is going on in the world without the soul of truth in it. It means that people will believe anything, will accept anything, as long as it agrees with how they want to feel, even if it is wrong. So your cake will not sell, not because it's not the best cake, but because it doesn't unlock the emotion that people want out there.
And sorry to cut you, because as you're saying, because it will affect the things that is meant to be original because it doesn't unlock the emotions, which means it will now generally in the whole society affect a lot of things. Mediocrity will not be the order of the day.
Of course. So imagine that I want to be popular.
Start doing crazy things.
In 1986, if I want to be popular, it's hard work. You're going to work your life out to get your streets to know that you exist. How much more to get the world to know that you exist? People like Michael Jackson or Mahatma Gandhi, Mandela have to be praised because they got popular without the blessing of social media. You know, artists way back, you have to do the work. There's no shortcut to this thing. Time was not with you. Speed was not with you, right? In this generation, you can go on social media.
Say anything.
Strip yourself naked. Now, don't forget that sex tape made somebody a big star in the world. Sex tape. Now, sex tape was made in private. But like I said, private and public are the same. Somebody is able to record that and put it to the public. It happened in private. And then the whole world went gaga. And then they want to see that person. You remember that lady that came on the final of Champions League naked some years ago?
That ran into the pitch. Yeah. Pitch invader.
You know how our social media, and the whole everybody was talking about her. Everybody was talking about her from nowhere. She got all the likes. She just did something crazy. So in my generation, when I was growing up, well, we are still alive, but when I was growing up, when you do something wrong, you are punished, judged, persecuted for doing the wrong thing. For example, if you put yourself naked on the street, you are going to regret it. You will regret it deeply. Now, I can put myself naked on the street. The same reaction will happen. People will not like me. They will call me names. They will criticize me. Except that for them to be able to do that, they must go and watch me. And they must they must give a comment. They must dislike or like. They must comment. They must
the
give me
engagement
views.
of your page.
Now, YouTube doesn't pay me for supportive views. YouTube pays me for views, even if it's a beefing view. So if you view and you say, nonsense, look at this girl, useless girl.
It's a view.
It's a view. If you say, I love this girl, it's a view. YouTube doesn't check whether it's a good supportive view or an antagonizing view. It just pay for views. So even beef is not a strategy. I can now do things that will make all of you mad. And in your madness, you are all coming to me. So it is now even truer that all publicity has become good publicity. Depending on who is in the war room of strategy. Because you are facing a world on social media that is as fickle as the next vibration. I say this humbly, but I always tell people, when you are in a crisis, and I've had a privilege of training 16 unit heads from all over the world about PR. Just when the law in PR used to be the 1 hour golden rule, what you do in the first hour of a crisis, when it was big, when social media was just nascent, I was flown to Dubai to teach 16 unit heads of PR to talk about the 1 hour golden rule. And in all humility, I said, no, 1 hour golden rule, there's nothing like that anymore. 1 hour golden rule is in the past on many levels. First of all, there's social media now. What you do in the first few minutes is important. Even the first second. I said, but more than that, let me tell you something else. Silence. The new king. There's nothing you face in this life. If you can be silent for 3 months, it will die. The lifespan of bad news is 3 months. You are never bigger than the energy of the culture. No matter how crazy your situation is, something bigger will happen. Big Brother will start. Or Super Eagles will win a match. Something will happen. 90 days max. No matter what you are facing, the best it can be is breaking news. Now on CNN, and on the news channels, they keep doing breaking news
Over
and keep
and over.
repeating it,
Your own will
waiting
expire.
for the next one because it will expire. Once the next one comes, it goes off the radar. The world has so changed that depending on what you are compartmentalizing, there's so much room for nothing. You can expand anything. Foolishness has become intelligent. Intelligent has taken backdoor. The noisiest is the wisest on social media. The noisiest is the wisest. People like me, it's difficult.
Yeah.
No matter what I'm saying, somebody with some energy, they will just drown
Just
what
come
I'm saying
outside and say,
in 1
well,
minute.
let me
right?
not say something.
So
No.
you see, there's something called confident ignorance.
Confident ignorance.
Yeah.
And that's almost
You know
equal.
nothing, but you are not aware. So you carry your ignorance with class and swag. And then the crazy thing is that everything is not tractionable. Foolishness has followers. No matter how foolish you are, you have a girlfriend. Somebody will believe in you.
I swear.
It's crazy. What has now happened?
And it also transforms to money too sometimes.
Yes. And what has now happened with social media is that no matter how foolish you are, you have a girlfriend. But now you have followers because social media can now expand it. So no matter how dumb you are, 18 million people can believe in that track. Now let's be correct. There are more foolish people in the world than wise. Right? And somebody must be foolish for wisdom to continue to have value. Whether we like it or not. Right? Somebody has to be foolish. If everybody is wise, foolishness,
Wisdom don't choke with that.
wisdom will be useless. It is the rarity of an idea that defines its relevance.
That's right,
The reason
sister.
why we all chase wisdom is because everybody can't be wise. And most people are not wise. If most people are wise and few people are foolish, all of us will be working hard to be foolish.
Do you think there are more foolish people on social media?
Oh, yes. So it's the same bracket. First of all, there are more foolish people in the world. So if you expand that, you see that there'll be more foolish people anywhere. There'll be more foolish people in marriages. There'll be more foolish people in business. There'll be more foolish people on social media. There are more foolish people anywhere. Foolishness is not an insult. It's a state of existence. It means there is a set of behavior that conforms to a definition. As you cannot call a carpenter a surgeon or call a poet a lawyer, so you cannot call a foolish person a wise person or call a wise person a foolish person. Foolishness is also an office and somebody will occupy it, whether we like it or not. As wisdom is an office. Who will occupy it is a symposium discussion. The choices of mortals will decide that, but somebody will occupy it.
Now, I mean, if we're saying that foolishness, that there are more foolish people on social media, does it? Because there's sometimes I will sit down somewhere and there's just one general complaint that people, say, hey, not bona, now I make these people feel say they popular. Not bona, now I blame on that. Most times you go on Instablog, you see comments, you people made this person popular. Is it that there are more stupid, foolish people that are making people that are not meant to be popular, and is celebrated and they become a celebrity? Or
No. So there is traction science. Because traction is a science. It can happen through catalyst. Somebody can make you popular. It can happen on your own. Right? I always I consult for different organizations. And then even churches.
Yeah.
And then you hear a pastor say something like, everybody in church, bring out your phone. Now, go to the church account is at Father Ministry. Go to church account. Now, everybody press follow. Because you want to grow. You think because you have 5,000 members, you should have 5,000 people
Followers.
following. It doesn't work that way. Because you are even assuming all of them are on Twitter. Some of them are not on Twitter. Some of them are on Instagram. They are on Facebook. They're not on Twitter. Some of them are on Twitter. They are not on Instagram, and all of that. So it doesn't happen that way, right? But beyond that, you ask yourself, so if you need to have a people to create your followership, how did Lady Gaga do it? Because she doesn't have a congregation. And she has hundreds of millions of followers. Even Ronaldo. So there's a science to it. And on what social media has done that people don't understand is that on one spot is the borderless energy that I spoke about. On one spot, without human contact, if your masquerade can dance well enough, the whole world will come and watch it dance. If you set yourself on fire, they say, the whole world will watch you burn. The real thing about social media is that we have internet, The internet is all the computers and all the phones in the world on one spot, right? Social media is not just that you have them on one spot, it's that they are now interacting. They can see each other. So I tell business people, whatever you are doing right now, anybody can see you. Obama can see you right now.
Yes.
Warren Buffett can see you.
Yes.
Anybody can see you. So the energy for traction, the fluidity of words like popularity, influence, are now more subtle. The qualification for birthing those experiences are now easier, right? Technology is a miracle. And I tell people every time, a miracle is not when somebody's eyes open. That is the representation of a miracle. It's the drama of a miracle. A miracle is anything that brings speed, efficiency, right, and affordability. That's a miracle.
There was one time I saw a post of you. I'm like, yo. You were like, anybody that is depressed, you can be depressed. Kill yourself if you want to.
Yeah.
Why did you say that?
Yeah, because you see, we live in a world that, like I said, truth is now an endangered species.
True.
And everybody wants to be pampered.
That's the word.
Yeah.
And we glamorize poor decisions, right? And we want to make people feel better and perpetuate their ignorance instead of liberating it. Now, truth is not necessarily nice, right? In fact, most truth will not be nice.
Doesn't have to make you happy.
And I'm not a nice person. And I always tell people, I'm not a nice person. Because when you try to be nice, you are going to compromise principles. You will say yes when you should say no. You will say no when you should say yes. Because you are busy trying to be liked, not trying to be respected. Now, if you want to be liked, then you have to forego your right to be respected. You may not be liked,
And be
but
respected.
people will respect you.
Yes.
Right? And I'm focused on respect. And respect is not about perfect behavior. I'm not going to be perfect. I don't hold myself to that standard, and I don't hold anybody to that standard, right? But I take pleasure in the quality of my environment, the energy that people exude around me. Thought has a presence.
Yes.
Thought has a presence. A foolish person doesn't need to say anything. Just foolishness in the room
Yeah.
can be articulated, depending on how present you are as a person. And I've taken so many foolish decisions in my life that at 53, I think I have a right to begin to control the temperature of my environment. Few people know the weight of foolishness like I do, because I've seen it. I've tasted, I've seen a lot. I've lived in that thing I said, confident ignorance. That was me some years ago. There is confident ignorance. There's assertive emptiness. There's drifting consciousness, where you are conscious, but you are drifting through life. You are around, but you are not present, right? And you are sharing energy that weakens your environment and doesn't lift it. And you are doing it confidently based on your known knowledge. Now, we have to add wisdom to known knowledge to birth newness. So a lot of times we come to people, we say what they want to hear, but we leave them worse than they were, right? For me, I've asked myself, what is my goal? Why do I live? I'm a lifter. I'm a connector. I connect people to people, but more than that, I connect people to invisible parts within their radar that they can't see.
Yeah.
That is part of my job. If you are foolish, I have to find a way to hug you and tell you so. You are foolish. You are. Somebody told me one time, this thing I'm doing, I'm not going to give up. I said, brother, you must give up. Giving up is a skill. You have to know when to give up. If you hold on to what God is not backing up, if you hold on to what the system, the structure does not support, you will give up the ghost. Now, because you're an adult, you have the freedom to hold on to anything. But just like you have the freedom to jump into a swimming pool and choose to swim on your terms. There's a protocol of swimming. No matter how sincere you are, people are sincerely in prison. People are sincerely poor. People are sincerely killed, sincerely raped, sincerely destroyed. Sincerity is not the factor of production. Land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. There's no sincerity there. You can be sincerely stupid. You can be sincerely foolish, right? You can be confidently, assertively dumb. These are realities. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to outgrow the limits of sincerity, just like hope. Hope is a tool of performance. It does not perform. You just can't be hopeful all your life. There must be strategy, right? Because hope is not an independent variable. It's a dependent one. You need to add a lot of other things to hope to bring sense out of it, right? If all you are going to have is hope, then you are that person who has celebrated destiny away from your own sense of mission and sense of thoroughness. Meaning that if God says I will be rich, I will be rich. If God says I will be this, I will be that. Really? So I tell them, you believe that much in destiny? Then go home today and you are hungry. Don't put the yam on the table. Don't cut it. Or put it on the table, put the knife, put the match, don't light anything, don't put any water, don't put any pot. And say, if God says I'll be full, I'll be full. You're not going to be full. You are going to die there. And if really you begin to pray and the yam begin to cut itself and enter the pot, and the oil enter the pot, will you stay in that house? Will you eat the food? That is the stupidity of how we pray and how we hope at times, right? When we think that outcomes can be generated without our own cooperation. It's the same idea about this, somebody is doing you, about diabolism, and all of that.
People from your village.
You know, people from your village and all of that. A curse in itself requires attitudinal cooperation for expression.
A curse in itself requires attitudinal
cooperation. In other words, if I'm hardworking, right, and you say I'll be poor, you are wasting your time. If I am lazy and you say I'll be poor, there's attitudinal cooperation to your pronouncement. So the universe agrees and providence ensures that that becomes enforced, right? That is why when jazz was jazz, I mean, you could go to a chief priest now and he will give you Coke, you know, mixed with something, and then they put safety pin on top of it and red cloth. That's technology, right? The bottle, the drink, that's technology. Ogun doesn't know that for sure. Amadiora doesn't know that for sure, right? When jazz was jazz, raw, you were colonized. You were colonized, man. And what colonized you was gunpowder. It's not even recognized as a weapon in 2024, right? So if gunpowder colonized you with all your cheap psychology, right? If jazz was jazz, how did the white man get away with slave trade? How did he get away with colonialism? Somebody should have called his name. Lugard should have been called from a temple and kill him off. All of that did not happen because at the end of the day, attitudinal cooperation is a precursor to the weight of curses. It's psychology that is weak. And when you are not getting that, there's a limit to what you can get. You see what I'm saying? So we all have to come to that dimension of how much is in control of the human being.
So anybody that wants to commit suicide, what do you say to that person?
It actually happened to me.
Or anybody that is depressed?
It actually, somebody was going to kill himself. And they called me. Now, let me say this for what it is worth. There are people that need, because I think that it takes a lot of strength to choose to be an armed robber, for example. It takes a lot of strength, right?
You go learn how to jump fence now.
It takes a lot of hard work to be a successful criminal.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of scenario planning to rob a bank. Scenario planning, project management.
Quick thinking.
You know, strategic foresighting involved in that exercise. So
that's it, you don't think before.
But people make poor decisions based on the context of their upbringing. And in every human experience, there's context.
Yeah.
There's premise for that context. There's the principle in that premise. There's the dispensation, and there's palliative. Those 5 experiences matter. And so some people deserve honest comfort. They need it. Some people need good talk therapy. Because I was telling him that I want to start a party called Zero. And it's a party. And we're just coming to have fun. It's zero. That is, we came to the world with nothing, we'll go with nothing. But it's fun. There'll be drinks, food, and everything. But at some point, we all come together and talk. I said, but the things I want to talk about there are things that you could have lived for 80 years and never hear. You could easily have lived for 75 years and never hear those things. That's what I want to talk about. Because I found out that your world is your reality.
Yeah.
There's so much more in the world than your reality.
Yes.
Because reality is not true. It's a partial representation of truth and a symbol at best. So there are people who are in crisis, they just never heard what you hear. So I say to people, don't confuse what is easy for you to do for what is easy. It can be easy for you based on the graces of your life, the exposure, so many things that made you, right? We say house helps, they cannot do this, you are screaming on your driver, but do you know, you say your house help cannot do this, cannot put this here, so you shout, you put him down or put her down, but you forgot that, what do you want her to do? To know the difference between the spoon for ice cream and the one for tea and the one for a soup and the one for cake, or to know the difference between, a glass for white wine and the glass for red wine. Do you know all it took for you to know that? You had a university degree, you had a master's degree, you've been watching movies since you were age 2, you've read comics, you've read novels. There's a lot of education that has come into your life. Your teacher, the school you went to, your environment, the billboards you saw, the places you traveled to, the friends you were blessed to have, made you into that. When you scream on the house help, you are asking her to think like you. Now, she doesn't have what you have. She doesn't have your context, your assumptions, your premises, the palliative, the dispensation that defined you. She's not in it. If she can really think like you, would she be a house help? She'll be a madam somewhere too, screaming on somebody. So she is a girl that grew up in an amala joint. They've been cursing her, waking her up with cursing. That's how they talk to her. Where is this fool? From age 3. That's the girl you brought into your house at age 15. And you want her to interpret the science of this house and the architecture of this house, right? So there's a place for empathy. The same thing happens to your chauffeur and to your driver. I was talking to him today when we were coming here. I said, anybody that cannot think qualifies for your empathy. So if you're in my office and you are a driver, cleaner, no matter how much you steal, I'd rather ignore you. How much can you even possibly steal? I will engage with my accountant, ED. We are on the same level, so we can hold each other to the same standard. But you have no idea how much option is missing in the life of a cleaner and what created that experience for him. So I will still look at context for me to define how to respond to somebody who wants to commit suicide. Because when you go into context, you see the peculiarity of experiences that defines the level of attention his or individuality deserves in that moment. But there are some people that, no, you are not weak. You are making a choice. So somebody says to me, I can't do anything. I can't do anything right now. I'm so tired. I went out at 5 a.m. I came back at 2 a.m. I'm out by 5 a.m. again. I'm so tired. This is 2 a.m. I can't do anything. I'm so tired. If it is possible, somebody should help me sleep. I'm that tired. If it's possible, somebody should help me cough. Somebody should help me use the toilet. I'm that tired. All of a sudden, 2 gunshots by the window. Boom, boom. Or a snake just crawls in. You sit down there and say, oh, so this is the day I'm going to die. When I'm so tired, I cannot do anything. They are now shooting. A snake is now here. This is the end of my life. Oh my God, who's going to help me? That's not what you're going to do. You're going to bail.
First.
When you bailed, did somebody come and say, take energy, run? No. The energy has been there, dormant. You need a contrary situation to compel you to place a demand on an hitherto dormant energy. The energy is there. But you believed a reality of indulgence that rendered you weak and helpless in that moment. So at a level, helplessness is a state of the mind. And we have to get into that mind to know if it is cause, default, or indulgence. And on many levels, people are indulged. Somebody say, oh, my weakness is sex. Anything in skirts. If I see anyone in skirts, I can't help it. I say, really? I was there with your mom? No. Your sister? No. But she's got skirts. She'll have jumped on your mom. And so you see, mommy, run. I can't help it. Anything in skirts, I jump on her. Mommy, run. And you see an old woman selling pepper. You see, pepper seller, move. You know anything in skirt? No. You left your mom. You left your sister. You left the old woman. You walked to 5 streets away to go and meet a girl. No, you are not weak. You are running a script.
You are not weak. You are running a script.
Oh, yeah. When you say you are tired, when that snake walked in and said you were tired, no, you were not tired. You were running a script. Because if you were tired, as the snake came in to say,
What is salo?
this is my end. The snake has come. I'm tired. Then you should be useless. If you move, there's something inside of you. You are kissing a girl. You say, my weakness is I should not just start kissing. I should not start touching. Once I start kissing or touching, I can't stop. I'm going to go all the way. Really? So, hold me, touch me. The guys, I want to tell you something. What? I want to tell you something. What? You know I can't stop. What do I? I'm HIV positive. You see, and you are just telling me now when I cannot stop. You know I can't stop. Once I start kissing, that's the end of my life. Oh my God. I have to continue. You are wicked. Why are you telling me that now? Oh my, no. Mm-hmm. You say, sorry, what did you say? If there are 255,000 demons at that time, you say, don't stop, continue. You say, sorry, are you guys all right?
You hear what?
Did you hear what you said? Continue what? Then you realize how much power is within your control. You were not weak, you were running a script and making choices. A lot of times in the name of weaknesses, we are running scripts. Scripts that empower our helplessness and give us that heroic positioning that hide our own choices behind the helplessness society can understand. But we run a different script inside that keeps you indulgent and powerless in the moment. You see what I'm saying? So it's not enough to say, I can't commit suicide. A lot of times it's just, I was in my office, somebody ran in and said, there's a guy outside, he has hold on to one wire. He says he's going to kill himself. I said, really? In this our corner? So I went outside to meet him. I said, you want to kill yourself? Yeah, I'm going to kill myself. I said, first of all, you don't want to kill yourself. You're taking too much time. Where do you live? You say, but you left Bariga. Do you know how many bridges are between Bariga and here? You look at you that you could have jumped into. You know how many trucks are on the way? You left all of them. You didn't jump into any water. You didn't go into any car. You came here to say you want to kill yourself. I know you don't want to kill yourself. What is your real issue? But if you have to kill yourself, this is a private property. You can go outside. Go outside. Sit down, and then you can kill yourself there. The government is responsible for you. You are not going to kill yourself here. We are not necessarily saying don't kill yourself. We are saying don't drag God into that liability. If killing is your commitment, this is it. We can give you options. But if this is your commitment, it's outside. That is the diagnosis in that situation. I knew he was running a script. I took a bet on my judgment, and I was right. Right? And I wasn't just doing chances. This is my job. This is what I do. And, you know, there's a lot I can say in your eyes. There's a lot that your sitting down tells me. There's a lot that your posture tells me. The average eye cannot see it. In the same way, the normal eyes cannot see the routes in the sky from Lagos to London. But any trained pilot sees that route. And all pilots will take the same route. There are no tied roads. There are no signposts. There are no street lights in the sky. But the trained eye of a pilot knows that way. In the same way, we know invisible parts and we can always find them. And you could look into people. And let me say this, for a lot of people threatening suicide, once people begin to threaten suicide, it means that they need attention. That's
what of depressed people that tell you they're depressed?
You know, you can't be depressed except you have the capacity to replay the past.
You cannot be depressed except you have the capacity to replay the past.
Because if you cannot replay the past or choose your role in the past, your weak role in the past, you can never be depressed. Depression comes from your interpretation of your environment vis-a-vis the weight and the content of your history and the role you are interpreting for yourself there. If you are not capable, like I can't be depressed. Now, I can face a lot in life, but there is a mental posture that I have that cannot take me into depression. I cannot be depressed. And that is not because of the way I was born. Why are you looking like that? That's because of what I've learned. And you see, when we know better, we do better.
Yeah, true that.
What is lacking in people is education. People need to understand the world and how it works, right? There's somebody I met who was making promises he was going to do. I hugged him and I told him, let me be honest with you. You are going to be very poor. In fact, from your conversation, the chances of finding meaning is almost impossible. It's not that you don't want it. You are not scripted for it. Somebody has to unscript you and then reprogram you for success. This your wishes you are talking about is what will kill you. You are jogging fast into depression because you have no capacity to birth the future you are going into. Yet you have a complete memory to replay your past. How are you not going to be depressed? When people cannot see what is ahead, but by nature, you can always replay your past because you have lived it. So even the devil may not know your future, but he knows your past. You can be reminded easily. You can be recalled into your history easier than you can be called into your future. So the energy for depression at the core of it is the cluelessness. People don't just commit suicide. Let me tell you this. Hopelessness doesn't lead to suicide. What leads to suicide is cluelessness. Cluelessness precedes hopelessness. It's when you are clueless, the inability to photograph the next second and the many seconds after it. Once you can photograph the next second, then you are clueless. Once you are clueless, you are a sure candidate for hopelessness.
Can we enter the police? There's something you said about the police. I can't even...
Sorry, can I quickly ask a question before we get to that? I really don't know how to put this, but I believe you are intelligent enough to help me put it together.
Yes, ma'am.
Amongst everything you've been saying, I feel there's something missing, and that is balance. Like everything we have to do, there should be a balance. When you're saying that, sometimes you have to just be on your own to achieve some things. Like I'm picking an example, there has to be balance to everything. Because if you overdo it, you might lose yourself at a point. So how do you...
I don't believe in balance.
You don't believe in balance?
Balance is overrated. In fact, balance is impossible on many levels. Because what is balance? Your balance is not my balance. It's like a scale. When is enough? I believe in harmony. Let me tell you what harmony is. Harmony is we don't have to be we don't all have to agree. We don't all have to be on the same page. It's like an orchestra. Different instruments,
Music.
one sound.
Alto, tenor, soprano,
Right?
one sound.
We're not all playing drums. We're not all playing, do you understand? But we can create a fusion of meaning based on our independent experiences. You see what I'm saying? And so when people say, you want to balance this, what is that balance? How do you know that it's enough for me? How are you going to recommend that for me?
I think it should be enough for yourself. You should know when it's enough for yourself, not for other people.
You cannot, you say, so I hear what you are trying to say, but if you're not careful, you are by your own self doing to yourself what your adversary should do to you. Because you are setting limits for yourself. Let me ask you a question. Why should anybody rationalize the necessity of focus? Why should you try to limit focus? Let me say this. What is missing is the real meaning of focus. Focus in itself creates blindness. You can't be focused without blindness to some things.
Yeah, you have to be blind to something.
If you are really focused, so when people say, "Oh, you don't want," I say, then you don't want to see anything, because if you have to be focused, you must be blind to some other things. Focus by design creates blindness. If I look at you now, I'm focused on you, but I can see Nedu, and I can see him. I can see the guys here. I can see the camera guys, but I'm focused on you. If I move closer, I lose him totally. For me to move closer, now I will see you more clearly, but I'm going to lose him. If I move closer, I will lose all these guys. If I move closer, I will probably lose all of them. I'll probably lose him. But if I move too close, you become blurred.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Nice.
But I can't even get to the point of you being blurred except I've cut these guys off. And when I've cut these guys off, I'm already seeing you. Now, this is the thing. If I want to move closer than I'm already seeing you clearly, then I have another intention. I'm not trying to see you anymore. Maybe somebody wants to kiss you, or he wants to kidnap you, or to do something stupid. That's why you became blurred, right? Because the vision has changed. But the idea is you cannot be out of meaning if you are intentionally recognizing your level of blindness. Do you understand? Being focused in itself and not be aware of the alternative for gone, which is the blindness, is the problem.
Okay.
Intentionally doing it, not people falling off. You are in charge. You are deciding what your responsibility is. What is my value to you? People come to me and say, "Oh, you are my mentor." I say, I'm not aware.
Mentor.
I'm not aware that I'm your mentor. Because mentoring for me is a walking, talking relationship.
Yeah, true.
I'm a voice in your life. I'm a teacher in your life, but I'm not your mentor yet. If I'm your mentor, we need to know. And if I have to know what is my value in this relationship, what is your value in this relationship, we have to be clear, right? If we are going to be friends at a level, there's a level of mutual understanding we both must agree on. Otherwise, we're going to have conflicts.
You wanted to say something about the
Nigerian police, right?
Yes.
So this day I was driving to church, actually, and I got to Town Planning Way.
Okay.
In Antony.
In
Ilupeju. And a police officer, because I attend the Fountain of Light Church.
Yes.
In Ilupeju. And then a police officer stopped us. The driver was driving. And then he said, Oga, park. So we parked. And then he said, so I told my driver not to say anything by rule. I don't allow my driver to talk to the
police officer
because I don't think he has enough intelligence to do it.
Yes.
So I always do it. So when he got there, I just said, wind down. So he went down. And I said, good afternoon, sir. Officer said, what did you say? I can't remember the way he said, but when he said, which you talk or whatever, but what he meant is, what did you say? I said, good afternoon, sir. I said, okay, they go. I said, they go? You stopped us. I said, okay, they go now, don't worry. I said, no, I'm so sorry. I'm a researcher. This is a bit puzzling. You stopped us. I greeted you. I said we should be going. You asked what I said. Then I greeted you again. You said we should be going. Why now? Why? So I engaged him. And this is what he told me. And I'm paraphrasing it. He said, in his life as a police officer, he has never heard anyone use sir for him before. Greeted him as sir. What does that mean? It means this guy has been so starved of dignity. He has been so starved of honor and respect that in that moment, at the use of that word, the resonance it produced was for me to work. It didn't matter if I have 200 human heads in the trunk.
In the car.
It didn't matter if I have kidnapped somebody. It didn't check anything again. He didn't even ask for money, which is rare. Just the way I use that word, because it's used to somebody's in a good car, it looks big, it should show big man. And I spoke to him with so much respect. And he asked me to walk away. It got me really puzzled. And then I began to think about our police officers. Remember I said that I had a crisis in 2007, 2008? I met a guy who's an inspector of police. It's not the soldier, right? Well, an inspector in his police station. Inspector Julius. I will never forget him. I get emotional every time I remember Inspector Julius. It really made a lot of impact in my life. He navigated that period because he was the one they brought my case to with so much humanity and respect. And we tried to even give him something and said he refused everything. He did everything on his honor professionally. It was unbelievable that an officer like that
in
is
Nigeria.
the Nigerian police force. So I started thinking, who is this police officer? Then I thought that, okay, the police officer in the city I live, don't forget I live in Dallas, right? I remember 9/11 when it happened. The building was coming down. More officers died who were coming into the building than those who were out in the building. They saw that it was coming down and they were running in. They knew they would die. But you see, that was their turn to show that they are Americans. They saw the danger and they were going. They are trained to make sacrifices, if necessary, with their life, if they have to. It will be their turn to take a position that great Americans have taken in their journey to define who they are, right? That is the training they have. So the police officer is trained for many things, including the necessity of trading his life if he has to. I look back at that though. If a guy in the U.S. Army dies for any reason, he gets $400,000. The family is rewarded as a blue star family or gold star family. Today, as I was boarding my flight yesterday to Lagos, again, I'm diamond medallion on the status with Delta Airline. That's the highest level you can be. The military veterans will be boarded before you.
Yeah.
I have a business class ticket. I'm diamond medallion. The veterans in the military, serving military or past, will be boarded before you.
Respect.
You are going to see them going to the flight with all your money that you paid, with whatever, it doesn't matter. Veterans are going to go in. There is a weight of honor that comes with aligning with that force. So their behavior, therefore, is understandable. The way they conduct their affairs, the sacrifice they are able to make is understandable. I flip that to Nigeria context, and I say that Nigerians forget that policemen actually die for them. Policemen are shot by armed robbers. They are killed. They go out, they don't come back. Almost every day. They get killed, they get shot in different parts of the world, in different parts of Nigeria, right? It's an unthankful job. They are not insured. The little salary they are paid is not enough. It's not paid regularly. Somebody is using it to go and bank somewhere and get some interest. Expand that. What you now pay him, don't forget who this guy is, a human being like you. He has dreams like you.
He has families like you.
Family like you. He hopes to have some type of twilight that comforts his existence. That if I put in work, at some point, I will raise my children. They will go to good schools. They will have the best of exposure. They will succeed and come back to honor me for my investment in their life. He has such dreams. But that's not where he ends. He knows I will never achieve this dream. He knows it. And then he's hungry, he's defeated, he's unsure, endangered, and then you give him a gun and say, protect us. Wow. Let me expand that a bit more. Do you know anybody that lived in Ikoyi whose children said, when I grow up, I'll be a police officer in Nigeria? So the people who become police officers in Nigeria are people who don't want to be police officers. They became police officers as a job to live. It's a livelihood for them. There's nobody in this room that has ever thought of becoming a police officer, right? We won't, because we know the reward structure. We know what goes on there, right? So this guy, like 9/11, when the 9/11 guy is in New York, he has a gunshot. Boom, boom, on the right.
Head on.
They go there. This is why we are here. They are there to die. When the Nigerian police officer hears a gunshot, on the right, he goes left, because that's not why he's here. He's here to live, not to die. So he's going to walk away. And justifiably so.
Yes.
If he dies, most likely he dies for nothing. Many of them are dead. When they are alive, they couldn't solve their economic problems. In death, it's a tragedy, right? He's not insured on many levels. He's struggling. And then don't forget, the armed robber and the police officer grew up in the same neighborhood. Don't forget, they have the same lifestyle, the same economic problems, the same socioeconomic problem. So the guy you are calling a police officer actually has some little dignity inside him. He had the equal discomfort of the armed robber. He chose to be a police officer. Both of them carry guns. And one is trying to save, one is trying to take. The same socioeconomic oppression that forced the armed robber to say, I will kill people and I will get money, is the same socioeconomic condition that told the police officer, you know what, I'll go to the police force. So his dignity took him there. And then he gets to the checkpoint. The same gun in his hand that an armed robber is carrying, the same gun, the same power, the same authority when he's with that gun. And then you say, protect me. How is he going to protect you? And when he asks you for a bribe, I think is the highest level of his kindness. In that moment, he has other choices. You are the one that have a vision. He doesn't have any vision. He can die. He can kill you. There's nothing going to happen. You kill him. So I always tell people, all poor people die twice. Only rich men die once. A poor person dies while he's alive. And then he dies when he breathes his last. Death is not when you breathe your last. Whether you are alive or you cannot breathe, the moments you have no capacity to fulfill the nutrient of your own choices, to have the attention, resources your individuality deserves, to control your own human experiences, deal human experiences. Even if you breathe, you are dead. A dead person in the grave cannot control his reality. A man who is poor cannot control his reality. So I always say to people, victim, slavery, slave, victim, and dead is the same thing. The three of them cannot control their necessary due human experiences. So if you are a slave, you don't control it. Somebody control it for you and tell you what to do, how to do it, right? If you are a victim, somebody stronger than you has come to overpower you and force an experience on you. If you are a dead person, you have no choice but to live in the condition of the grave. So 3 of them have no control over their necessary due human experiences. So if a man is dead, that is why if you threaten a poor man and say, if you traffic cocaine to our country, we will kill you. He's not moved.
It's not moved.
You are telling him you will kill him second time. He's already dead.
He's already
against
dead.
what is that bench? That threat is against what? That he'll become a millionaire? Or that he will live a life of
Or
peace?
die and I die.
Or that, he will say, when you didn't kill me, what am I? I'm dead. If I traffic this cocaine, I may live. Because you may not catch me. If you catch me and you kill me, well, I'm dead anyway. I didn't commit suicide. But if I escape, then I become rich. I'll take a chance. So that's why I tell people, consequences cannot condition poverty. You can't make laws and more laws to condition poverty. You can use laws to condition a successful enterprise, to condition the successful and the living. Laws cannot regulate the thinking or the behavior of the poor because the poor is a dead person. You see what I'm saying? So you put a policeman in that condition and you ask him to protect you. I think that, so part of what I used to do when I was living in Nigeria, was I used to put a lot of water in my trunk, right? And put ice, soft drinks. And when I get to the police checkpoint, I stop them, greet them well. When they see a big man, so I say, go to the trunk. There are drinks there. They take drinks. I give them money. Somebody said, but you are indulging them. I say, so what will you say if I give a beggar money? You will say, how can you give a beggar money? You are indulging him. He has a house in the north. Then I now know you have never seen money before. It's because you don't know the character of money that you think somebody can be rich and come and submit himself to a begging role in the city center, in the thickness of the metropolis, and be begging. Nobody with value can do that.
Nobody with value.
Don't you know that for the person to come and be begging in the city center and begging for money is already a proof of his wretchedness? He's a dead man already. That's why he's begging. So the Bible did not say, he that lends to a truthful poor lends to the Lord. It said, he that lends to the poor, whether he's truthful or not, he's still a poor man. Even if he's lying. Even if he's not blind and he's acting blind, he's still a poor man. What can happen to you now? That the way you will respond to your poverty is to go and act like a blind man in the city in Ikoyi and be begging on the road. What can happen to you? By the time you decide to do that, you're no longer alive. You're no longer alive. So I will treat you as somebody in the economy of the grave.
I want to say something to everybody that is watching this episode today. First of all, shout out to all of you. Please, if you can, because I didn't see this thing this way. I'm to be blamed as well. I want you, tomorrow, being Tuesday, any police officer is you on the road, be nice to that person. If you can record, be nice to that person. Record it. Send it to us. If you can.
Come on.
If you can.
Record police.
No. If you can. Hence, I said, if you can, record being nice to that person. Because when you're recording being nice to that person, when the video goes around, other people will learn to be nice to them. Even if you don't have any money to give to them, say, good afternoon, sir. How are you? Take this bottle of water.
Yeah.
No matter what you have done wrong. Even the Bible said, a soft conversation, soft voice
Turns away wrath.
Do that. And let us be the change that we want to see.
And what that's also doing, Nedu, is that it goes ahead to reprogram the police officer.
Exactly.
Because the way he begins to see them, I always say to anybody living in a quality neighborhood, engage the police station close to you.
Oh, yeah.
What is a bag of rice in a year? And that bag of rice in a year can save your neighborhood on the day of contradiction.
Yes.
Get involved. Create support system. Send a bag of water there every week. It's nothing to you.
What I do sometimes is there are some police stations not too far from my side. Sometimes, once in a while, I just go there, drop some words, cash.
It works.
Go to here.
Because when they now see people like you, they know that a rich man is not necessarily my oppressor.
I've never had issues.
Yes.
But God forbid I have issues one day. I just want a phone call.
Yes.
Anyway, husband material, we're going to say something.
So, I mean, great one. But
English is overrated. I want to know what that part is.
Yes. Let's just have that, and then so that we can wrap.
And let me also say something about police officers.
Okay.
So, some people then say, but they are mean police officers. Wicked men. I believe, and I've done my research, Nigerians at the core are beautiful people. The criminals we know in Nigeria, first of all, you know that there is a prison in every country. So that means there's a criminal in every country. There are policemen in every country. So they are enforcing the law and they are fighting crime. So it's not unique to our environment, right? And there are corrupt police officers everywhere, even in the United States, even in England, there are corrupt police officers. Therefore, you are doing that stereotyping and that selective reasoning by saying that because armed robbers wear trainers, everybody wearing trainers is an armed robber. Because a man abused your sister, therefore every man is an abuser, right? Because some police officers are criminals does not cancel the humanity in some other police officers. And I beg to say they are more. They are in the majority. The good officers are in the majority.
True.
The bad officers, of course, bad news scale above good news.
Yeah.
And that's why I like what she said. Let's tell the story of heroism.
Yes.
Let's tell the story of humanity that will experience our police officers.
Yes.
And not just continue to allow bad news to scale.
To faster.
Policemen represent something. If you take it out of this society, it will be miserable for all of us tomorrow.
Very true. Very true. Shout out to all the great police officers. God bless you all.
English language.
Yes, you say English language is overrated.
It is.
This is our English language.
What would they do for now? Like,
Our official language, the lingua franca.
Let's go there.
Why exactly?
So this is it. A young man came to my house many years ago. His uncle had returned from England and was staying with me. He had come to see him to ask for money to buy a new engine for his taxi car. He ran a taxi business.
Okay.
I knew this guy when he was much younger, and he was brilliant. So here was I like, hey, why are you driving taxi? I knew you. You were smart. Why didn't you go to school? Why didn't you become a lawyer or something? I said, I didn't go to school. I gave up on that. What happened? He said, I wanted to study law. First of all, I was struggling. I had 4 credit. I didn't have 5 credit. But most importantly was I couldn't pass English language. And I kept failing English. After a while, my dad said, you can't take that extra price on anymore. And so I had to forget about education. And here I am. I said, I don't understand. You couldn't pass English language. He said, yes. I said, okay, wait. Which subject did you pass? He said, he passed economics, government, and I think commerce or something. I said, okay. Which language did you use to pass those other subjects? Did you write the economics with Yoruba? No. Did you write the government with Yoruba? You wrote it with English and you passed. Okay, so question to myself now. It means when the examiner is marking this boy's paper, it's not testing the use of English. It's testing the technicality of English. Because if it's testing the use of English, our boy can speak enough English to pass 3 other subjects with the same English, right? And he passed in flying colors. So why couldn't he pass the English language that he used to pass 3 other subjects? It means that what the examiner is testing is whether, no matter how much language you can speak, if you can't tell the difference between a clause and a phrase, between a pronoun and an adjective, you are not going to pass. The bigger question I ask myself is, so what is the goal of lingua franca? Is it communication or sophistication? Because if it is communication, our boy could communicate enough to pass 3 other subjects, right? So it means that if it's communication, and I say to you, I'm going to Lagos tomorrow. Please, do you understand that?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I've passed. I should pass. That is the goal of lingua franca. If you say no, you cannot say I'm going to Lagos, then you won't get a job. Then you are persecuting me. You are persecuting me beyond the definition of your lingua franca. It means that lingua franca is about sophistication, not communication. It means that no matter how clearly you can understand me, if I fail the test of technicality of the use of that English, I will still not get the attention and the resources and the acceptance my individuality deserves. Meaning that if I go for an interview and I say, I'm come from Ogun State, I will lose the job. Even if I'm the best thinker in the room. I will fail the test of container even if my content is correct. Even if my quality of thinking is correct, I can't even marry the girl of my dreams. Because if I go to her house on Sunday morning and the other day say, where are you taking her? I say, we are going to church. I say, sorry, excuse me. You are going to church? Except the man is also a church speaking, so there's sympathetic resonance. He will tell this girl, you have not found your husband though. Right? Now, I could be the best thinker in town. I could be the most loving guy in town. I could pace the woman, help her with her emotions, guide her in her career more than anybody could. But because I failed the technicality of English, just because I cannot say, I am coming, and I say, I'm come go, and then you understand me. Let's expand that. Let's expand that. So, pidgin is not an embarrassment. Pidgin, there's pidgin French, there's pidgin English, there's pidgin Yoruba, there's pidgin Igbo, there's pidgin Hausa, there's pidgin in every language. Pidgin is the proof of a people's struggle with an original language. Pidgin is the proof of a people's struggle with an original language. The best coaches in the world don't speak good English. I hope you have noticed. From Jose Mourinho to Pep Guardiola to Jurgen Klopp to all of them, they speak bad English. Yeah, they train Englishmen. And they win all the competitions in the world. Because everybody is focused on communication. If Westerhoff, one of the most successful Super Eagles coaches, this is how he talks. Tomorrow we win, Yakini is called. That's how he talks. But we get him. Do you know that a Gary seller in Benin speaks better English than a Chinese professor? But the Chinese professor has made his own shoes. He has made his own car. He has made his own plane. He has made his own instruments for expressing himself every day. We are busy judging the Gari woman by a pidgin struggle, and she cannot advance. Think about it. The 4 subjects of development in the world is mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology. Those subjects make everything. Every other subject is trying to sell it, promote it, spread it, defend it, protect it, whether you call it law, accounting. But the subjects that make is physics, chemistry, biology, maths. You see those countries that you honor, those countries we praise, America, Japan, they learned those subjects in their language.
Yes.
The Chinese learned it in Mandarin. Japanese learn it in their own language. The French learn it in French. The Germans speak German.
Russians.
Have you thought about it? That the most prosperous countries in the world speak one language? The poorest countries in the world have many. Because we are busy trying to master another person's language. Now, let's be clear. It's not my fault that I cannot speak English. It's not, neither did I choose it. I am an Ijebu man. If I say, Mofe malo, instead of Mofe malo, which is Yoruba, if I say Mofe malo, I'm a ras man. Because I cannot speak Yoruba well, which is who I am made to be.
Your mother tongue.
If I say I'm go, I'm not an Englishman. You should understand that I'm not an Englishman. You can't judge me as a Yoruba man by the standard of an Englishman. Now, you cannot, because I'm not an Englishman. I can't marry the girl of my dreams. I cannot company with the people that I want to be with in society just because I fail the standard of another man's language, not my own. I speak Yoruba very well. I speak, you speak Igbo very well. You speak Hausa very well, right? But you don't speak English very well. And that is fine. If you say we have a lingua franca, let's focus on communication, not sophistication, right? So English language for me is overrated because we are insisting that the perfection of it will be a standard of progress in our own society. And the Englishman has not held the Chinese to that standard. The English country has not held the French to that standard.
I swear!
We have not held anybody to that standard. We are the ones holding ourselves to that standard. The Englishman is not even holding us to that standard. Let me tell you something. If you say, I'm in charge of the program, I'm the one in charge. If you say it in Lagos to a beautiful girl, she's going to look down on you.
Yes, but if you say it outside.
But if you're in America, you will see a lawyer.
Yes.
Well-educated lawyer, went to Harvard. Her husband is Nigerian or Ghanaian. He will say, in charge. Because she didn't see it as being lower in society or being fake or being weak or being ras. She sees it as normal challenge of English.
Yes.
Now, you see Nigerians in Chicago who will say Chicago because they are wrestling she. Meanwhile, Chicago is Chicago. You don't say Chicago. It's not Chicago. It's
Chicago.
It's Chicago. It's is SHI, but our own mind, she is embarrassment. So we must not say Chicago, we must say Chicago. So you see them again, Chicago. Wrestling with the weight that English language has placed on them. Now, if all of us are in this room and we are communicating, the ideas that we fly, just because somebody speaks good English, a part of us says is better. A part of us says we should listen more to him. A part of us says is superior, right? Have you noticed that anybody speaking either English in a British accent or American accent, when they are teaching, they just sound deep. At times what they are saying is so watery, so elementary, I'm like, everybody say, ooh, they're not responding to the depth. They are responding to the container, not the content, right? And I see that every day. And you see people, if you are in a room with girls, with boys, and you say, I'm go, people will look down on you.
To laugh at you.
It doesn't matter if you are the best thinker in the room. Just because you failed that standard of that container, they think that they are better than you. So I have to graduate out of that. And I used to be that myself. But I used to say, no, this is not fair. I can't hold myself to that standard. I can't allow anybody around me to be held to that standard. So our first response is not to mock people because they cannot speak good English. If we are going to mock people at all, mock them that they cannot speak their own native language. Right? So what about that? Now, what am I saying, PK? Are you now saying that we should cancel English language? No, I think it's too late. 60 years of adopting another man's language is enough to define our reality. It's fine. What I'm saying is, it should not be a determinant of progress in our country. So what does that mean? People can go and learn English in school. It should not be part of our grading. Meaning that we are not sending you to learn English to be a master of English. We are sending you to learn English to say enough for us to communicate. The pidgin version, throw any Nigerian, any foreigner to anywhere in Nigeria, any market, they will buy and sell and go. Go and take a German today, raw German, throw him in the Nigerian market in Kalagu. He will go there with pidgin English to pidgin English. They will understand each other. They will buy, they will sell, and they will go. So we can focus on our struggle with another man's language if we honor communication. The same goals will be achieved, even better. That means that a lot of mechanics, have you gone to a mechanic workshop? You are looking at the engine. You are looking at him doing everything, and he's still cheating you. And you can't see what he's doing there. You will look at him, watch everything, he will still cheat you. The intelligence you didn't allow him to express because you couldn't pass an English and go on to be your best engineer is what he's still using to cheat you in that place, despite all your education. There are talents who are wasting out there. Do you know how many people could not advance their education because they could not pass the test of English language? Do you know how many people settled for less just because they didn't have the privilege of growing up in a home where they were reading comics from age 2, they were watching movies from age 3, and all of that? Just because they have the privilege of attending one grammar school somewhere in the village where the English teacher taught them your English with Yoruba, and somebody else attended, some private school in Lagos who had been exposed early, and that both of them is the same thing that happened way back when they said, if your hand cannot touch your ear,
you are not ready to go
you
to
are not
school.
going to go to school. Yes. Imagine that your dad is tall, your mom is short, and you came and you picked after your mom's gene, and you were short. And your younger brother came and picked up that he will go to school before you. Who chose that kind of standard? A standard that is an weakness or reality of nature, not of intelligence. But somebody chose it. That's the same way they have chosen English language as a determinant of progress. So what do you think we should do? So that I don't think we are just criticizing. I'll tell them what they think we should do. I think that right now it's too late to cancel English language. I think English should not be part of our grading at any level. It should be a compulsory subject. It should be judged by classroom attendance. And that's it. Number 3, there should be English language centers in every local government that is teaching adults and children and anybody a form of English enough for them to communicate. 3, our key languages should be made compulsory and we should be graded by it. And that we should be masters of our own. Our professors of language, of linguistics in the universities should be tasked to give us physics textbooks in Yoruba, in Igbo, in Hausa, to give us a chance, because most of us don't think in our native languages anymore. I don't think in Yoruba, I think in English. One day I was invited to a TV station where they were speaking Yoruba, and I was confident I would speak. And they said, we'll talk about success, growth. I said, we come. I'm a Yoruba man. I went there. The first question, I wanted to start. I couldn't because I had to put English language.
Yes.
So Tebarikwe idea. I said, what's going on? I wanted to start again. So, Sherry, you can't believe it. They canceled the show. It was an embarrassment. No, I couldn't speak Yoruba. I couldn't go 4-5 words without slotting in English language. And it's a purely Yoruba show. It was an embarrassment. I left that place with a thought. I've lost my ability to think in Yoruba because you can't speak if you don't think in the language.
Yes.
The reason why you don't speak French is because you don't think in French. If you can think in French, you will speak French. So I don't even have that anymore. So it means my wife, my children cannot enjoy my best thoughts because my nature is compromised. There's a reason why I was born there, right? So on many levels, when you look at it, we should absorb English language as part of the instruments we have used to create community in our nation and blend diversity. It should not be a determinant of progress.
The funny thing is one of the best players in the world, Lionel Messi. So Lionel Messi, what do you think? What do you think? Another person go first interpret the question to him. Go say, Palatuti.
But give him the ball.
Give him the ball.
You go no say no be my English.
Give him the ball.
That's the genius be that.
We make him the best in the world.
That's the genius be that.
Imagine. Do you know that we have a lot of... Anyway, let's round up. Let's round up.
So, Dr. Kunle Soriyan, thank you so much. Anybody when watch this episode, reach this point now, walk into any business center, tell them to print certificate for you, and just carry the certificate there, put Honest Bond Podcast, VC, Dr. Olakunle Soriyan, then go and prepare for NYSC. Because all this conversation, not be waiting that they teach for university. We are really very grateful that you honored our invitation and you have blessed us with this much knowledge. And I am very certain that everyone that watched this episode would leave a different person. You know, say we talk from the beginning, say now changing the rules. They don't put rules, say live by this. But it gets in where we say if you know it go there different. And I hope that this episode will be a catalyst to that change that would make you accelerate geometrically to Olympian heights. Dr. Olakunle, thank you so much.
Say it in Igbo, say it in Igbo. Say it in Yoruba, say it in Yoruba.
So let me say it in Igbo. In Igbo, I will just say, Uka Agbasago.
Say it in Yoruba.
Church has ended.
So say it in Yoruba. All this is where you talk now. Wait, from the beginning to the end, the Olympian,
No fit.
Say it in Yoruba.
If I can't say it for Yoruba, you can't be like, I know if you say it for Igbo.
I talk for Yoruba. Me, I go talk for Igbo.
For Yoruba. So, gbogbo nǹkan tá ti gbọ́ ní ibà yín sìn. Lágbára Ọlọ́run ọba, á gbé wa lọ sí ipò tó yẹ pé táwọn èèyàn bá wò wá, wọ́n á wò pé a ti débi tó yẹ pé ó yẹ ká dé. Ó yá say it in Igbo.
He didn't even say, God will help us.
God will help us.
The Olympic.
So, no, if you are going to the Olympia, who controls the Olympia? It's God now. We are saying it in Igbo.
Ihe niile anyị nugo na mgbede a. Okwukwe m mechie ọgọ na de. Okwukwe m na anything na even ihe niile anyị nugo na mgbede a. Okwukwe m na anyị etinye n'ife anyị na-eme ka ndụ anyị wee wụrụ ndụ ndị mmadụ ya afụ wee si ewu onye a na-agbani agbani m ga-achọ ka ndụ m dị ka ndụ onye a ka m na-agbani agbani.
Then in Chinese language. Purr.